Gordo police say 41-year-old officer Anthony Ferguson has died from his injuries after being shot during a traffic stop Saturday. Officials allege 26-year-old Dominic Delao crashed into a light pole after officers tried to pull him over for driving without headlights or taillights, explaining he pulled out a shotgun, shooting Ferguson in the face.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin, the suspect, is in custody. And a major labor union asking President Biden not to get involved in the potential strike of UPS employees.
The Teamsters union president doesn't want the White House to intervene to prevent UPS workers from going on strike. The union represents more than half of the UPS workforce. A collective bargaining agreement expires at the end of the month, and a strike is threatened if a new deal is not reached.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' presidential campaign, well, it may have money problems.
Governor DeSantis just cut his campaign staff by less than 10 people because he's tight on cash. The governor raked in more than $20 million in the first 6 weeks of his campaign, but he's also spent nearly half of that, $8 million, leaving the campaign with just $12.2 million in cash on hand. And that ad spending hasn't helped him much in the polls. He really hasn't been able to cut into former President Trump's lead.
Fox's Aisha Hasni. The Biden campaign announced to raise $72 million during the same period. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Remembering a deputy who lost his life. Cloudy and 82 in downtown Indianapolis. Radar is clear. Low temps to the mid-60s tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:02. Marion County Deputy John Durham was killed in the line of duty last week. Hundreds of people honored his life at his funeral Monday morning. John Herrick reports.
Durham's colleagues on the force came into Gainbridge Fieldhouse to music provided by Captain Brian Wolf, as did the rest of his family. The service, led by Father Douglas Hunter, praying that Durham could rest in peace.
Let us pray for our brother, that he may share in Christ's victory.
Tears shed, memories recalled, and gratefulness was shown to a man who was kind and fair to everyone. Donations are being accepted on Durham's behalf at the Central Indiana Police Foundation, and you can offer your sympathy if you want to at crownhill.org. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Skies are hazy again today from those wildfires in Canada.
We're just in that wind pattern that's keeping the smoke from the Canadian wildfires moving into central Indiana, so it's causing some issues with air quality today once again.
Randy Bowers with the National Weather Service says you should stay indoors, especially if you have any respiratory problems. There are chances for rain as well. One person was killed in a crash on the northwest side Sunday night around 8. IMPD says the driver steered the car off-road and hit a pole on North High School Road near 46th Street and Moeller Road. Police say there was only one person in the car. They're investigating why it left the road to begin with. A Hoosier Democrat is starting a new campaign. Kurt Darling reports.
Keith Potts is an Indianapolis City County Councilor.
I'm running for the United States Senate because in the work that I've done on our Indianapolis City County Council, I've seen government work.
Potts has been part of a Democratic supermajority on the council in recent years. He tells All Indiana Politics that he supports abortion, stricter gun laws, and he wants to raise taxes slightly to make sure that Social Security remains funded. Potts says that Republicans are trying to stifle personal freedoms, and he wants to take his fight directly to Jim Banks, who is running on the Republican ticket. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
I have a friend who just moved to St. Louis. Huge career switch. But she's still paying mortgage here in town, just killing her financially. She used the traditional home selling process as something like an agent that had been in the family forever, and what a nightmare this has been. Matt Bear here. Hey, it makes me know that I'm using Open Door and the Open Door app because they let me skip all the hassles that come with buying and selling your home. You pick the closing date, so no double mortgages. You're in control from the very beginning in the process. Man, it's so streamlined. You could request an offer from anywhere on any device, even sell your house and buy your next house all in one move. I mean, there isn't always a perfect time to move. Open Door can help any time be a perfect time. Take control of your move when you start with Open Door. Visit opendoor.com or download the Open Door app to get started. That's opendoor.com or download the Open Door app. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage Incorporated, license 020-61130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage LLC and its other markets. Terms and conditions apply.
With traffic on the 5s at 3:05, here's Matt Bear.
Yeah, Harrison, 3 out of 4 interstates into downtown are jammed right now. Inbound 65 is stopped from 29th into the North Split. That's because southbound 65 is closed at the north split, okay? You have to continue going eastbound 70 right now. That's going to be the diversion point, continuing from southbound 65 to eastbound 70. All right, northbound 65, 70 crash at Fletcher Avenue. 3 left lanes are blocked. That stops traffic into the south split. Eastbound 70 finished right now from Tibbs on in. Traffic sponsored by Bob Evans Restaurants. Where can you make the whole family happy for less? At Bob Evans, find over 30 breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for $8.99 or less. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Smoke and haze during the day today. Afternoon showers and thunderstorms possible with highs near 84. Scattered storms tonight with lows near 62. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it! My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. Another rough way to start the week. Another funeral, another procession, another burial of another Indiana police officer. This time, Marion County Deputy John Durham. Hammer. And I got to tell you, this is 3 Indiana law enforcement officers losing their life in the line of duty within as many weeks.
And again, the grieving will continue, the prayers, the tears will continue, but there are also some questions. And we'll get to those questions here in just a moment. But for those who may have missed what was just a beautiful service at Gainbridge Fieldhouse earlier today, the most emotional moments, at least in my opinion, watching it are when his sons came up as a group. And this is John Durham Jr. talking about his dad.
My family told me to write down a speech, but I wouldn't be my dad's son if I didn't just wing it. If you knew him, he didn't know a stranger. Whether it was the first time he met you, it was like he knew him for 20 years. I mean, all the stories I heard last night was he brought food in for everybody to work, brought in donuts. He was the life of the party. He was a good man. He lived life to the fullest. He treated everybody with respect, the inmates, to the people he worked with, to our family. He was a great man. I love you, Dad. Thank you.
Wow.
Emotional, man.
Yeah,
you hear it in his
rough.
voice. Now, after John Jr. spoke, another son, Corey, came up. And I think Corey, who is older than John Jr., realized, a lot of people were sad. A lot of people were crying. His younger brother was having a hard time. So I think he wanted to lift up the mood of the room just a little bit.
I get it. Everyone needs to cry, but you can be happy. You can smile. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. And you know why? We have a beautiful man, Jesus Christ, that's sitting there with Dad right now, smiling, laughing, dancing. You name it, they're doing it. So it's okay. Smile. When you see me, smile. However you feel, whatever you're feeling right now, just whether it's a round of applause, whether you want to stand up and just thank God or anything. So if we could, just please, let's give Dad a round of applause and just make any noise you want. It doesn't matter.
One final standing ovation. I thought that was really cool.
And what an amazing outlook Corey has on the passing of his father, Deputy Durham. That was very powerful.
Here is Marion County Sheriff Kerry Forrestal.
Let us be inspired by the heroism and commitment demonstrated by John. Let us channel our grief into a renewed determination to create safer neighborhoods and to continue to build bridges between communities and law enforcement. It was a solemn honor to posthumously award John with the Purple Heart and the Medal of Valor. But we can all honor the memory of Deputy John Durham by redoubling our efforts to create a society where law and order prevail, where respect for the rule of law is upheld, and where our brave men and women in uniform can serve without fear. Let us recommit ourselves to a future where our officers return home safely at the end of a shift, knowing their sacrifice is appreciated and their service is valued.
One of the things I think we've learned as a community since this tragedy took place, number one, how much this guy loved his family, always talked about his family, and how much he loved the Indiana Pacers and Reggie Miller. He used to work courtside during the days where Reggie was still playing for the Pacers and developed some sort of relationship with Reggie. And recently, I think it was John Jr. was really excited. They got Reggie's jersey and game-worn shorts in like a big picture, and they were hanging that on the wall, framed it. That was there at the field house today, and so was a message from Reggie Miller.
Oh, wow.
Hello, everyone. I'm Reggie Miller. And like all of you, we mourn the loss of Deputy John Durham. This is an incredibly sad time, but know this, and I would love to speak to the family, especially the boys, John or Johnny Jr., Corey, Robert, Bryce. Your father was incredibly proud of each of you guys, spoke of you highly. It's funny how fate is at times. The times your father and I crossed paths, all he could talk about was the joyful glee he had in his boys, in his family. Look around you at Gamebridge right now. This is how much your father was loved. To have a service like this with all the people that cared and loved for him so much there in that field house.
Yeah, that was a recorded message from Reggie.
It sounded like Deputy Durham was just universally loved, not only through his family, but his friends, his coworkers. Reggie Miller, you said he did security back in the day for the Pacers?
Right.
That's how he got to know Reggie?
Right.
Okay. Wow.
And was always a big Reggie fan, and there today, by the casket on the stage next to the pictures of the family was that the big framed Reggie Miller jersey and shorts that the boys worked to put together. And unfortunately, we've heard way too many of these lately, but after the funeral ends and the procession makes its way to Crown Hill Cemetery, you have that emotional 10:42 end of watch call, and this took place in front of the Community Justice Center.
On July 10th, 2023, Marion County Sheriff Deputy John Durham answered his final call. While transporting a prisoner from a medical appointment, Deputy Durham was assaulted and killed. There is no greater love than a man that would lay down their life for another. Marion County Sheriff's Office, Deputy John Durham, Sheriff 333, is 1042. He has gone home for the final time.
Man, that gives me chills every time I hear those. I can't imagine what the family is going through. But unfortunately, so many families around central Indiana, whether it's the Shanavaz family, whether it's the Bradway family, they know exactly what it's like. So the questions now remain. After today's tribute and tears and sadness, the real reality is there are some questions surrounding the death of this fallen hero.
Yeah, I was gone last week when this happened. Can you briefly reset exactly what went down?
So
they mentioned it there in the 1042 call.
Orlando Mitchell. Now, if that name rings a bell to you, this was the scumbag that shot and murdered the woman in front of the daycare center.
Yes. She should have never been out of jail to do that in the first place, right?
He had beaten her while she was pregnant prior to that in front of a child. And then he broke his probationary violations, broke into the house wanting his kids back. This guy, for all of that activity, served 1 day in jail.
That was before, of course, he shot his girlfriend to death in front of the daycare center.
Correct. 1 day in jail, slapped with an ankle monitor, and then after shooting that same woman to death in front of children, he fled and turned a rifle on police. Had an officer not shot Orlando Mitchell, perhaps more people would have died. Now, unfortunately, and I mean that with all my heart, unfortunately, he didn't die. And he was taken to the hospital, and he was charged with murder. So he ends up having some medical situation, and Marion County Deputy John Durham is tasked with taking him to get the treatment that he needs. Something happens with the handcuffs where he gets a little bit loose. They start wrestling around, and he uses the handcuff chain to choke and kill Deputy Durham. And then he uncuffs his handcuffs, uses the vehicle as a battering ram, tries to make a run for it, crashes, and is ultimately apprehended. So my questions are, what has to happen so this doesn't happen again? What happened with the handcuff situation? How was he able to use those as a device to choke and kill someone? And is it normal for this violent of a suspect, and this was a violent dude, for one deputy to be in charge of that? We're not talking about a guy busted for tax evasion in the back seat. You're talking about some of the worst human beings in the planet, and he's right there at the table. Is it normal for one person to be in charge of him?
Well, we all know the IMPD and the Sheriff's Department are both severely understaffed at this point, desperately looking for people and recruits. So the recruiting goals are very underwhelming right now. So
if it's a staffing issue, I mean, you've got to find somebody else to go on that run, though. You pull somebody in from run somewhere. Again, this was a horrible human being. And listen, I will be completely honest here. I'm very happy that Ryan Mears has hit this guy with the death penalty. I was surprised, but I will tip my hat to the Marion County Prosecutor's Department. They are now hitting Orlando Mitchell with the death penalty, and I just hope that one day this guy meets his maker. These things take sometimes 7 to 10 years.
Years upon years.
Some guys are sitting on Indiana death row right now, completely out of appeals, just sitting there hanging out. All right, Matt Baer, what's going on?
North Split is closed. Southbound 65, a crash has shut down your access to the through traffic portion of the North Split. Southbound 65, 72 Greenwood. Right now you're pushed towards Hancock County on eastbound 70 or towards downtown. The Fletcher Avenue, Ohio Street exits. Traffic is stopped back to 21st Street. Inbound 70, struggle from Sherman on in. Crash northbound 65, 70. Let's go the other direction. Block 3, left lanes of Fletcher. Stop traffic into the South Split at eastbound 70, finish from Belmont. Traffic sponsored by LASIK Plus. LASIK Plus is the patient's choice for LASIK. Get $1,000 off LASIK when treated in July. That's $500 off per eye plus guaranteed financing. Visit mylasicoffer.com for details. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Man, I'm amped up for this. Coming up here in about 15 minutes or so, Guy Relford, the gun guy, will be here for Monday Gun Day. Now, you missed the action last week, Nige. Jefferson Shreve's gun plan, which is Joe Hogsett's gun plan, which in essence is just giving a middle finger to law-abiding citizens in Indianapolis. Apparently, we're the problem. Did not go over well on this program. Guy was here, I was here, and we've had the weekend to think about it, and I'm still ticked off. So Guy Relford will join us in studio coming up about 3:35. Right now, we are looking at cloudy skies, 83 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Did you know 96% of Americans, 96% forfeit $111,000 in Social Security income?
That sounds like a lot of people losing a lot of money.
Yeah, well, it's true. But you can learn how you can avoid this with the free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. You know, we trust Bill. We're clients of his, and he knows Social Security like the back of his hand.
This free analysis pinpoints exactly when you should file for Social Security while considering your taxes, spousal benefits, and Medicare premiums. If you've saved at least $200,000 for retirement and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis by calling 317-932-9912.
Save yourself a ton of time and don't lose a dime in Social Security income. Schedule your free analysis by calling 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Indiana Foundation Service. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at indianafoundation.com.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule your complete health assessment at Low T Center. They now offer the convenience of monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay or covered by most health insurance.
If you don't live near a Low T Center or just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy to get started on treatments. Only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. Destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars Thursday, July 20th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, July 22nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Whether you're an experienced firearms owner or just thinking about getting a new firearm, Atkinson Firearms in Greenwood has everything you need. With brands like Glock, Smith & Wesson, Canik, Colt, Henry, SIG, and much more. If Atkinson Firearms doesn't have it, they can get it. Plus accessories, from holsters to ammo and everything between. Atkinson Firearms is firefighter owned and veteran staff with a new larger location. Follow Atkinson Firearms on Facebook. Atkinson Firearms, off County Line Road next to the Greenwood Airport.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Let us send you your home's value today. Go to HoosierHomeValues2023.com from Crossroads Collective, title sponsor of the first day, Sundays 11 to 1.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hammer's over there. My name is Nigel. Thanks to everybody that filled in for me last week. You know the list better than I do. Guy Relford was here Monday.
Right, as his usual guest spot. And then we had Indy Spanglish.
Spangs.
Jerry was here. Ethan Hatcher, Tony Kennett, all helping out through the week.
Right on.
All did great work. But it's good to have you back.
Yeah.
Where were you?
I was at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, living the lake life for a week. And more specifically at this place called Camp Brocious. It's a family camp.
It's where all the bros go.
No, Camp
Brocious.
It's actually affiliated with IU. The founders were heavy IU supporters, and it's been around for like 100 years, and families go for 10 weeks every year, and it's a traditional, it's communal bathrooms. I'm pooping next to people I don't know and showering next to people I don't know all week, and there's, usually college-aged camp counselors that take the kids in the morning and the afternoon to do traditional summer camp stuff while all the adults can go do whatever they want. And so, and the cool thing is we just happened to arrive at the time when the Spooth family was there. And the Spooths are the ones that were original founders of this place.
So did you have a bromance with the Spooths?
So their kids or grandkids and kids have been going for like a century to this place. And people come from all over the country, I guess, from Florida to Colorado to Washington State. So it was unique. We stayed in cabins and stuff like that. And
did you have Wi-Fi at all? Were you able to keep up on things?
I checked my phone from time to time, texted you once or twice. But no, I really was able to just kind of tune out for the entire week. And there were boats, and you could pay one of the college counselors to watch your kids at night so you could go into town and have a few drinks. We rented a pontoon all week, which was money. It was just like living on the lake all week, but instead of like an Airbnb, it was a campground, true to its form.
Did you bring back any spotted cow?
No.
Man, come on.
I know. I
Dude.
didn't. What am I thinking, right? That stuff is like gold around here in Indy. I didn't even think about it. Yeah. But
I love the spotted cow.
We were all loaded up on drinks, and we went with a couple other families we knew. The kids had a blast, and it was definitely a unique experience. I was glad to be able to sit down privately in a toilet and do my business, as opposed to the communal showers and bathrooms, which I hadn't experienced really until, when I was a kid going to, church camps and stuff like that. So, yeah, Elkhart Lake, you should check it out. It's really nice. It was awesome.
It is officially summer camp season.
Yeah.
So don't let your kids have all the fun, right?
Right.
You, as an adult, should have a little taste of the action. Luckily for you, there's a place available.
Parents, if your kids are out of control and climbing the walls, drop them off at Grandma's house and head to Camp Toka-Doobie. Start your day with a wake and bake. It's the ultimate bud and breakfast. Camp Toka-Doobie will take away all of the stresses of parenting and let you relax. Maybe listen to some reggae and chill. Join in the daily activities like cannabis yoga, consciousness, or learn to roll the perfect joint. And of course, the 420 happy hour. Camp Toka-Doobie, your most relaxing week of the year.
Yeah, that was nothing like the camp I went to. There was beer and cocktails allowed by the adults, but no doobs, so to speak.
Was it really hot there? Because in certain parts of the country, mainly the Southwest, we're talking like 113, 114 degrees.
Yeah, no, Wisconsin's pretty, it's up north a little bit. It's in, it's not quite to Green Bay. So it was windy, a little bit cooler, rained a couple days.
Did you get the Canadian smoky air at all?
The main guy, Tommy there, the program director, said a few weeks ago they did. And everybody had to stay inside for a day.
Wow, it was that bad.
Oh, yeah.
So whether it's the intense heat or that damn Canadian wildfire smoke making its way around, we thought here at Hammer and Nigel Show, we should use our record label, Hammer and Nigel Records, to our advantage. And we put together this little song that encompasses those that are burning and things that are physically burning.
It's friggin' hot. It's friggin' hot. The ocean's become a giant lobster pot. It's friggin' hot. It's friggin' hot. Hotter than a wife whose husband just got caught. I look to the sky, say, God, please send help. But what good is heaven? I'm already burning in hell. It's friggin' hot. It's friggin' hot. My bowl of Dippin' Dots are now drippin' drops. It's friggin' hot. It's friggin' hot. Like Margot Robbie tossed in Carolina Reaper wing sauce. Your girl's acting crazy, has a bad attitude. You would too if you had sweat dripping from your boobs. It's friggin' hot. It's friggin' hot. It's friggin' hot.
There we go.
Bravo.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Why Window Nation? Why now, you're asking? As interested mortgage rates continue to climb, Window Nation is still keeping 0% interest for 2 years for a house full of windows. Invest in your home now with new windows from Window Nation and increase the value of your home. And, once you're ready to move, you'll get top dollar for the number one investment. That's windows. I have Window Nation windows at my house. My neighbors saw how awesome they looked and how much energy I was saving on my bills. They got Window Nation windows as well.
No money down, no payments, no interest for 2 years. That's on top of the existing deal where you buy 2 windows and you get 2 for free, any style from Window Nation. And there's no limit. The more windows you buy, the more free ones you get. 866-90-NATION. Window Nation can answer any questions that you have. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com, but you have to tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
I don't always black out when I'm drunk.
My kids can't tell that I'm high, so it's okay.
I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink in the morning.
I still have a job, so my drug use isn't a problem.
I can stop using whenever I want.
Don't ignore the signs of addiction. You don't have to wait until it's too late to get help. At Landmark Recovery, we're here to provide affordable and effective addiction treatment. Call 866-LANDMARK or visit landmarkrecovery.com to get help today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A funeral for a deputy, 83 degrees and cloudy in downtown Indianapolis. Nothing on your radar. Low temps drop to the 60s after sunset. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:30. Hundreds gathered inside Gamebridge Fieldhouse Monday for the funeral of John Durham, the Marion County deputy who was killed by an inmate a week ago.
The loss we mourn today serves as a stark reminder of the dangers and challenges that confront those who choose a life dedicated to upholding the law.
Marion County Sheriff Kerry Forrestall. Durham was killed while transporting Orlando Mitchell to and from a hospital. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty for him. The air quality today is not great, but severe storms could also develop.
So where thunderstorms would develop along the front, somewhere up in the northern part of central Indiana, and they would begin to organize and expand a little bit, move through the Indianapolis area.
Randy Bowers with the National Weather Service says the worst of these storms will develop down in southern Indiana. President Biden's new student loan forgiveness plan is estimated to cost $475 billion over a decade.
These student loan bailout programs that the Biden administration has tried to push through, they end up costing a lot more than the Biden administration estimates. Penn Wharton budget model saying that it could cost 10 times more, the $39 billion, which was what the original quoted estimated cost was for this program. They're also saying that this is going to start a disturbing trend, saying that people are going to start borrowing more money for college than putting a lot of money down towards their student loans.
Fox Business's Hillary Vaughn, a roughly 3-year pause on student loan payments also ends this summer. Russia is backing out of a grain deal with Ukraine that could impact global food supplies. The agreement allowed Ukrainian agricultural products to move through the Black Sea without problems from Russia. President Zelensky says he won't back down. His country supplies a tenth of the world's wheat markets. The average price for a gallon of gas in Indiana today, $3.52, says GasBuddy.com, up 30 cents from where it was 7 days ago. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:32.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
With traffic, 3:33. What's going on, Matt Bear?
One crash has entirely fouled up downtown, and getting into it, here it is, Harrison. We look at southbound 65. That is closed at the north split and through traffic to Greenwood. Cannot get through right now. You are being pushed into the collector, as I understand it. That is the local ramp with Michigan Street, Ohio, and Fletcher. Same thing going westbound 70. No access right now to southbound 6570 because of that crash, so you cannot exit westbound 70 towards Greenwood. You have to continue into the local ramp or the collector. Again, as I am told, all part of this, we have lane closures going northbound 6570 because of this crash. 2 left lanes are blocked before Washington Street, stopping traffic onto eastbound 70 back to Belmont. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Smoke and haze during the day today. Afternoon showers and thunderstorms possible with highs near 84. Scattered storms tonight with lows near 62. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The only way to bag a classy lady is to give her 2 tickets to the gun show.
It's Monday Gun Day with the Gun Guy.
Just watch out for the guns. They'll get you.
Guy and Wilford.
Stop calling your arms guns.
Hammer and Nigel show.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Second Amendment attorney and licensed firearms instructor Guy Relford, host of the Gun Guy Show Saturdays here on 93 WIBC, live in studio. Guy, how are you?
Man, I'm great, and thanks as always to our sponsor for Monday Gun Day. That's Premier Arms in Brownsburg, with the largest selection of new, used, and historic firearms in the Midwest, and PA Jewelers located right in the store. Check them out at 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg or premierarms.com.
You know, I feel very honored. I'm sharing the studio with not only a 2A scholar, but also a shock jock.
Yes. Yes. Jason Hammer, shock jock.
Hammer was referred to in some article that was written about this whole Jefferson Shreve thing.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Apparently I missed. I went down Friday. Can you maybe briefly reset what all you guys talked about? Shreve, of course, going up against Hogshead. He's a Republican. He's a Republican front runner for mayor. And the public safety policy was released last week of one Mr. Jefferson Shreve.
Well, exactly. Last Thursday, Jefferson Shreve announced his so-called public safety plan, and it is pretty much based around gun control. And again, this is a Republican, I'll put that in quotes, Republican candidate for mayor in Indianapolis, and he basically just regurgitated the exact same gun control proposal that Hogshead already put out. And the only thing missing is he's not proposing a ban on all concealed carry, but he wants to repeal constitutional carry in Marion County. He wants to ban so-called assault weapons. He wants to raise the minimum age to buy any firearm to 21, which, by the way, as we've talked about, Marion County, Indianapolis can't do. There's a state statute right on point. So they can't regulate firearms like that. It's illegal. And so you can't do it. Well, no, my plan is I'm going to go to the legislature and I'm going to talk into amending the preemption statute and allowing Marion County to do this, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But I've been talking to legislators most of the day today about how likely that is to happen. But at any rate, so Thursday, I was here and we did a kind of a Thursday edition of Monday Gun Day. I'm talking to Jason and Tony Kennett. And we were all pretty critical of the Shreve proposal for any number of reasons, because first of all, it lets Hogshead off the hook on his biggest weakness, his biggest vulnerability, which is crime. Right. And the whole Hogshead proposal on gun control is complete sleight of hand. It's complete diversion. It's like, oh no, it's not the administration in Indianapolis and the Marion County prosecutor being weak on crime. Oh, no. It's not the fact that we have more people out on ankle monitors than any city in the country, not per capita, total numbers. Oh, no, that's not it. It's not that we have the bond project, the bail project in here bailing out violent criminals who go out and murder people. No, none of that's it. It's guns, and we need to pass gun control, and that'll keep people safe. So by Shreve proposing the exact same gun control proposals, all he's doing is he's letting Hogshead off the hook on his biggest weakness. So anyway, we all talked about this. We were very critical, and lo and behold, an article came out on a blog or a
Substack.
website. It's on Substack, but it's from a group called Importantville, and I hadn't heard of them.
I think Adam Wren might be involved in that. Okay. That's the guy that once, along with Politico, outed the sexual assault of a servicewoman. Just for people's point of reference to want to know who Adam Wren is.
But apparently they have some credibility because both Shreve and his principal strategist, a guy named Mark Lubbers, gave an extensive interview to these people. And what's interesting is that the conversation I had with Jason and Tony Kennett on Thursday was prominently discussed. And they asked this Mr. Lubbers, this chief strategist, said, "Hey, Relford said that that the Shreve campaign is DOA before it ever got started," which I tweeted, and that and I posted, "WTF are you thinking?" Meaning, why'd you kill your own campaign by alienating so much of your base with anti-2A proposals? And Jason said something similar, which on the air, which was, "Yeah, Shreve lost today." So they quoted those things to this Mark Lubbers guy, and he came out and he said, this is a quote, "Relford and his ilk preach their gun religion." Okay, keep in mind, this is a strategist for a Republican candidate. "Relford and his ilk preach their gun religion from the gated communities in Carmel. They can have whatever gun laws they want. Let us have the ones we need." So he thinks this is really profound.
Okay, well, let me tell you something. I live in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I live in Marion County. And with all due respect, and I mean with all due respect, I got $5 Lubbers pee sitting down.
Oh, well, yeah, well, get this. By the way, this came out, and I had a guy I've known for a long time, very active in Indiana politics, call me. He goes, you know where Lubbers lives? And I go, where? He goes, Meridian Kessler.
That's a very nice.
And I started laughing. It's probably the most expensive neighborhood in Indianapolis. Jefferson Shreve just sold his business for $590 million. And I have no idea where he lives and what his house looks like. I'm pretty sure my house would fit in his garage.
And this is why I'm still so upset, because people were asking me all weekend long, man, you were pretty hot on Thursday. Are you all right? I thought Jefferson Shreve had a good puncher's chance of beating Joe Hogsett. Joe is probably still the favorite, but I thought we had a ball game here because Moneybags over here, Richie Rich, is going to run tons of commercials, and at least he'll have a chance.
Yes.
But then he releases his gun control plan and basically says guys like me who have never been arrested, shockingly, never been arrested, take care of their family, pay their taxes, go to work every day, love people around them. I'm the problem because I want to carry my firearm around downtown Indianapolis.
Yeah, right.
Bite me. That's not the plan here. And really, this is what really burns me up more than anything else. Hogsett's numbers were starting to crater, even within very blue Marion County. And this gun control plan from Joe was a Hail Mary.
Yes.
It's never going to become the law. The Republican-dominated state house would never change any of these things around. It's a total Hail Mary. He threw crap against the wall, and Jefferson Shreve said, well, let me see if I can throw a bigger piece of crap against the wall.
He bought into it. He endorsed the Hogsett's diversionary campaign. This is a distraction that Hogsett threw out, and Jefferson Shreve bought into it. But it's worse than that. And that's why I was so shocked by this article and the quotes we saw, particularly from this Einstein Mark Lubbers, because that what they've apparently decided, guys, and this is huge, they've apparently decided that support of the Second Amendment is a flaw within the Republican Party, and that it's an extremist view. This is support for a constitutional guarantee of a freedom the founders gave us. He's decided that's an extremist view, and they need to back the Republican Party. This is the entire Republican Party. I'm not talking Marion County. I'm talking about Republican politics generally. They need to back the Republican Party away from the support of the Second Amendment, and that'll benefit the Republican Party when they know they're no longer being dragged down by support of the Constitution. Because this is the quote, and this is again from Mark Lubbers. This is the beginning of the revolution to return common sense and the courage. Excuse me, let me bring that again. This is the beginning of the revolution to return common sense and courage to the soul of the Republican Party. You're going to return common sense and courage to the soul of the Republican Party by turning your back on the Second Amendment. That's their plan right here in Marion County. You think I want to see them get a toehold on that BS? That's amazing to me.
Let me play you a piece of audio. This is from the rollout, the announcement that Jefferson Shreve had last Thursday. A reporter asked him, listen, what you want to do, it requires the Indiana General Assembly to change the laws.
Right.
How are you going to do that? Take a listen.
I believe that a Republican administration in the mayor's office can advance these policies, this agenda, in ways that the Hogsett administration has not even attempted to.
So you've specifically talked to legislative leaders about carving out exceptions possibly for Indianapolis on purchasage of firearms, permitless carry, assault weapons?
James, I've had serious conversations with the leadership in the House and Senate on these, and these are real-time, serious conversations, one-to-one, direct. And I can't tell you specifically what their caucuses may agree to, but yes. And I'll work those relationships vigorously. I mean, that's part and parcel of the job of mayor, to be lobbyist in chief, if you will, to advocate for your city.
Guy, sounds like he wants to play a game of let's make a deal when it comes to the Second Amendment.
Yeah, it's exactly it.
So
and
he's got contact. He's saying he's got contacts within the legislatures,
right.
seeming seemingly saying, hey, we can make this work.
Exactly. I mean, I would guess over the last, 10 years, I've spent roughly, say 1,000 times more time over in the State House than Jefferson Shreve has. And I talked to the legislators, and I did so all day today. I obviously had to work my real job into the agenda as well. But for instance, on the drive down here from my office, which is, by the way, is not in a gated community. I've never lived in a gated community in my life. But at any rate, on my way down here,
we did. Yeah.
I was talking to legislators, and the first one I talked to, who had a major role in passing the preemption statute that we're talking about here. I said, "Did you hear Jefferson Shreve's presser? He says he's going to amend the preemption law, and he's having substantial important conversations, that he thinks is going to bear fruit in the General Assembly." And this guy laughed out loud. He literally laughed out loud, and he said, "Good luck." And he said that's not going to go anywhere. He said he won't get a hearing. He said, "Now, could you go talk to a Republican senator today?" Kyle Walker, for instance, voted against us on constitutional carry. He's right here in Indy. And I could see him. He's a Republican, quote unquote. But he's always been weak on the Second Amendment. He voted against us on constitutional carry. Could I see a conversation between Kyle Walker, and again, I have no idea whether they had this or not, and Jefferson Shreve, where Kyle Walker said, "Yes, I will help you out on this. I will support it." Sure, I can see that. You know how badly he got his butt kicked when he voted against constitutional carry in the General Assembly? I mean, and again, we had some Republicans vote against it, but it was still passed overwhelmingly.
Right.
And so, could I see a Republican here or there? I mean, and the Democrats, oh my gosh, you go to a number of the Democrats and say, hey, would you support this? Oh, they're all going to say yes. It's going to have some good window dressing, but it's not going anywhere.
And what would you say to, I think Shreve, one of the things he's going to stand on is that he says, I stand with law enforcement on the issue of constitutional carry. Yeah, and that's a pretty powerful leg to stand on.
Yeah, but it's also a lie to the extent that they come out and they say that law enforcement was monolithic and universal in opposing constitutional carry. Okay. Did we have law enforcement oppose it? You bet. I mean, and we've talked about all of this. Doug Carter, who again is a friend of mine, respect a lot. He was our most vocal opponent in the General Assembly, Indiana Superintendent of Indiana State Police. So sure, but we also had multiple law enforcement officers come in and testify for it, including the sheriff in Hamilton County, Dennis Quakenbush, and many others. So, and by the way, when you talk to the leadership, you go to chiefs who are basically political appointees, right? And how they feel about it, that's one thing. Go to elected sheriffs and then go to the rank and file on the street, completely different.
You're 100% right, because I've got a lot of friends in law enforcement. Just because the mouthpiece says something doesn't mean the body feels that way.
Absolutely.
And last thing on this before I move on, because there is another story I want to talk to you about.
Sure.
This was not brought up during the primary. There's a lot of people that feel like they wasted their vote on Jefferson Shreve in the primary if they would have known he was going to stab law-abiding citizens like us in the back. Maybe they would have voted for Abdul. Maybe they would have voted for somebody else. But this didn't come up, and he does it now. That's a weasel move. That's a snake in the grass move. And I'm so passionate because I dislike Joe Hogsett so much. I wanted to believe in this dude. I wanted to put the sign in my yard, but he's going to blame me for the problems in Indianapolis. Go to hell.
Yeah.
Stick around one more break, please. Can you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Guy Relford coming back. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Summer weather is finally here, and that means it's time for flip-flops, sandals, and your summer wardrobe. But for some people, it's the season of painful feet. Hi, this is Phoebe with the Good Feet Store, and to keep you out of pain and having fun this summer, you need some great support in all those shoes you're wearing. Our patented arch support system has helped countless people find relief from foot, knee, hip, and back pain. Like Dale. Listen to his real Good Feet story.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya, and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
So stop in today for your free personalized fitting and test walk and see what the Good Feet store can do for you this summer.
So Galaxy came to my house, put a brand new coating on my garage. It's out of this world. My old garage floor was just horrible, dirty, cracked. Galaxy came in within a day, changed the whole new look, made it 4 times as stronger. They don't use epoxy. That's like the old stuff the other guys use. This is better. They use polyurea, the new premium standard for coatings. I love my new garage floor from Galaxy. Check out their website, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or call them, 751-9070.
Here's Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner.
When my wife Jennifer and I opened the first of our 51 Indiana Jiffy Lubes back in 1985, oil changes were $19.99. They were fast and easy, and they were due every 3,000 miles. Now our product costs keep rising, oil changes are much more complicated, and they're only needed a couple times a year. But one thing that hasn't changed is Jiffy Lube's commitment to doing the job right. Our expert technicians must pass the most rigorous training program in the industry. We pay higher wages than our competition, and we are very active in our communities, supporting public art, honoring Hoosier volunteers, and now with our new No Ticket Let's Fix It program that allows police officers to solve problems instead of issuing tickets. At Jiffy Lube, we take a lot of pride in being the best in the business at what we do. You never need an appointment, and our service satisfies new car and extended warranties. We look forward to seeing you soon.
The new No Ticket Let's Fix It program from Indiana's favorite, Jiffy Lube.
If you're a Medicaid member, you should know guaranteed coverage is coming to an end. Keep an eye on your mailbox for important information from Medicaid. When you receive it, go online and enter your updated information to maintain your coverage or to find other coverage if you're no longer eligible for Medicaid. Keep your health and keep your coverage. Learn more at fssabenefits.in.gov.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Hey, we're pretty social people at WIBC. You can find us all over social media. See what we're up to on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're never more than just away. Just search for 93 WIBC.
Matt Bayer's got to look at the roads.
North Split is just buried right now. We have a closure running southbound 65 and westbound 70. Both interstates continuing to southbound 65 are shut down right now because of a crash right around Washington Street on southbound 65 at 70. So both directions getting pushed onto the local ramp to collector ramp like you're exiting downtown. Part of the crash is northbound. That's northbound 65-70 Fletcher Avenue. That's going to be blocking 2 left lanes, stopping traffic into the South Split and onto eastbound 70 to Belmont. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Right now it's 83 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Guy Relford in studio with us. It's Monday Gun Day. Guy, this is a somber anniversary. Yeah. It was 1 year ago that the Greenwood Park Mall shooting took place, where 3 people lost their lives. Could have been a lot worse had it not been for your client, Eli Dicken. I'm just curious as to your thoughts 1 year removed here, and the information that we found out last week, some of that stuff that was on the shooter's phone.
Yeah, I mean, the FBI finally cracked the code on this guy's iPhone, and they found a lot of Nazi references and whatnot. And I don't know that there was anything all that dramatic in that, anything other than what we expected.
A possible suicide note from April 9th, 2020, which, if that's the case, that tells us this guy had been disturbed and thinking about doing these heinous acts for almost 2 years.
Yeah. But to me, what I think about it, and I'm glad you started the discussion as you did, Jason, because we always ought to think about the 3 innocent people that lost their lives, and that's the most important thing. But one thing that's been really important to me as I've seen, because I travel all over the country, I take a lot of training classes all over the country. I've now been to 4 classes, firearms training classes outside the state of Indiana, where an instructor at some point talked about Eli Dickin and the Greenwood Mall shooting, and talked about how important it was that an armed citizen was there and available, and that's encouraged a lot of people, and a lot of more people are. And the last thing I'll throw out, I know we have a time crunch, but under Hogsett and Shreve's proposals, they're going to roll back constitutional carry. Hogsett wants to do away with concealed carry. Is that going to make it more or less likely we're going to have another Eli Dickin if another one of these breaks out at a mall in Indianapolis?
Please follow him on Twitter. You will learn something. He can help you at Guy Relford. Guy, thank you for coming down. You're the best.
Thanks, guys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family heating and air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow. With rising utility costs, rising product costs, and missed opportunity costs, which you could be saving with a high-efficiency system. Give us a call today to schedule your free in-depth estimate, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Mow, dig, haul, lift. The versatile Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor does it all. Switching attachments is simple, and a smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation. The Kubota BX Series, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Fishers and Indianapolis to see their full line of Kubota, or visit them online at McAllisterKubota.com.
Today's kids and teenagers are facing more challenges than generations before. Culture is questioning basic, unchanging truths. Many parents are looking for direction to lead their kids and teenagers onto right paths. I'm Tina Pavey, Director of Next Gen Ministries at Life Church. We believe parents have what it takes to lead their kids and teenagers on a path that leads to life. And each Life Church campus is eager to partner with parents. For more information, visit one of the Life Church campuses or go to lifechurchin.com. Parents, you can do this. We will help you.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Indiana Foundation Service. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at indianafoundation.com.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $139 and a free hallway and $50 off air duct cleaning with Zero Res. 388-5141. Online at ZeroResIndy.com.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here. If you have a clogged pipe, who to call is a no-drainer. Call my friends at Hope Plumbing. They're experts in the industry and trustworthy plumbers who care about the health and safety of your home. During the month of July, Hope is offering a $49 mainline cleaning with a free camera inspection. Stop the gurgling in your pipes and don't stress over all those tree roots in your yard. Call Hope Plumbing today and schedule your $49 mainline cleaning.
Let us send you your home's value today. Go to HoosierHomeValues2023.com. From Crossroads Collective, title sponsor of the First Day, Sundays 11 to 1.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how Marion County Deputy John Durham is being remembered today. The smoke from Canadian wildfires has made its way back into Indiana, and a Democrat who wants a U.S. Senate seat. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. Cloudy with temperatures in the 80s downtown. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
Disrupting the flow of food. I'm Kevin Uretsky, Fox News. Secretary of State Antony Blinken expressed concern this afternoon over Russia's decision to suspend a deal that allowed Ukraine to ship grain to developing nations through the Black Sea.
The result of Russia's action today, weaponizing food, using it as a tool, as a weapon in its war against Ukraine, will be to make food harder to come by in places that desperately need it and have prices rise. We're already seeing the market react to this as prices are going up.
The White House says the U.S. will continue to work with other countries to ensure the movement of grain. Also today, news that a blast damaged the bridge, allowing Russia its only access to Crimea.
The blast killing at least 2 people, a man and a woman whose now orphaned child was also in the car. She survived with serious injuries. Russia today blames Ukraine for the explosions, and Ukrainian officials, on the other hand, call it a Russian provocation.
Fox's Alex Hogan. The mother of Andre Longmore, the 40-year-old man who killed 4 people Saturday in Hampton, Georgia, before being killed in the shootout yesterday, says he needed mental help for nearly 10 years, but his family couldn't force him to get treatment. Lorna Dennis made those comments to Atlanta's WSB-TV yesterday. And the family of a girl who died on convicted murderer Alec Murdaugh's boat has settled a wrongful death suit.
The family of 19-year-old Mallory Beach, who died 4 years ago at a crash on a boat owned by disgraced South Carolina lawyer Alex Murdaugh, reaching a $15 million settlement agreement with Parker's Corporation, the owner of a convenience store that sold Murdaugh's late son Paul alcohol while he was underage. Paul was driving the boat before it crashed into a bridge. Beach's body was found 8 days later.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. At the close on Wall Street, stocks up 76 points. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Remembering John Durham, cloudy and 82 on the circle. Nothing on your radar, but some storms could move through later. Temps tonight drop into the 60s. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02.
Amazing grace, how sweet.
Marion County Deputy John Durham being remembered today during a funeral at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Durham was killed a week ago after he was attacked by an inmate while transferring him to and from a hospital.
The loss we mourn today serves as a stark reminder of the dangers and challenges that confront those who choose a life dedicated to upholding the law.
Marion County Sheriff Kerry Forrestall. Durham had nearly 40 years worth of service in law enforcement. His family said he was a hard worker and had a great sense of humor. You may have noticed smoke from the Canadian wildfires is back in Indiana today.
We're just in that wind pattern that's keeping the smoke from the Canadian wildfires moving into central Indiana, so it's causing some issues with air quality today once again.
Forecaster Randy Bauer says it's best to stay inside, especially if you have any respiratory issues. Storms are possible as well. The Bloomington Police Department says a man was found shot in the chest near a dumpster outside of a Subway. Witnesses say they saw an employee from the restaurant, Sean Rivers, arguing over where the man parked his car before they heard a gunshot. They later saw Rivers walk back inside the Subway and leave. He was arrested not long after and is charged with attempted murder. Keith Potts is planning to run for U.S. Senate in Indiana. He's a Democrat on the Indianapolis City County Council, and he feels he can bring his experiences on the council to Washington. One of his main concerns is making sure Social Security remains funded.
I think we can raise the cap on Social Security taxes that are levied on Americans to a higher rate, index that over a course of years so that folks aren't feeling it day to day.
On All Indiana Politics, he feels that Republicans are stifling the personal freedoms of Americans. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all or your money back. Seminars 8 p.m. on Thursday, July 20th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville, or 2 p.m. on Saturday, July 22nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Registration is 30 minutes before the seminar. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison. Essentially, the north split is closed right now. Westbound 70 access and southbound 65 access to. Southbound 6570, like you're going to Greenwood, access denied. It's because of a crash at Washington Street right now, exit 111, and that is shutting everything down. Traffic is being pushed onto the local ramp, the collector ramp, and man, that's a lot of traffic going to Michigan Street, Ohio Street, and Fletcher Avenue. Also part of the crash, northbound 6570 going in the other direction. That's 2 left lanes blocked at Washington Street, while cleanup continues. Traffic stopped into the south split, and on eastbound 70 back to Belmont. Traffic sponsored by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop the train. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Scattered showers and storms will develop this evening with the threat for isolated strong to severe storms. Wind and hail will be the primary threats with lows in the low 60s tonight. Tomorrow, isolated showers and storms possible with highs in the mid-80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Tracking meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. More fallout from the Iowa Presidential Forum hosted by Tucker Carlson last Friday. First of all, Carlson, Tucker Carlson, obviously the face of Fox News, was fired a couple of months ago from Fox News for reasons we still don't understand or know, but he's been on quite a roll lately. He's, I think there are rumors, or they're more than rumors, that he's starting his own media empire and currently looking for big dollar investors. He's got like $1 million sponsor for his Twitter show that he has, and he was hosting these presidential forums over the weekend that were very hot.
So everybody that matters, with the exception of the front runner for the Republican Party, Donald Trump, was at this little shindig in Iowa.
I noticed he said everybody that matters, but Chris Christie wasn't there either.
We'll get to Chris Christie. You just sit tight. We'll get to Chris Christie. So Tucker Carlson was drilling the candidates predominantly about Ukraine, the war, Ukraine against Russia, and nobody, I think, dropped the ball more than Mike Pence did. Now, let's not get it twisted. Tim Scott had a bad answer. Asia Hutchinson had a bad answer. But nobody dropped the ball harder than Mike Pence did. Here, take a listen.
We promised them 33 Abrams tanks in January. I heard again 2 weeks ago in Ukraine, they still don't have them. We've been telling them we'll train their F-16 pilots, but now they're saying maybe January we'll let somebody transfer some jets.
I'm sorry, Mr. Vice President, have you, I know you're running for president. You are distressed that the Ukrainians don't have enough American tanks. Every city in the United States has become much worse over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Drive around. There's not one city that's gotten better in the United States. And it's visible. Our economy has degraded. The suicide rate has jumped. Public filth and disorder and crime have exponentially increased. And yet, your concern is that the Ukrainians, a country most people can't find on a map, who've received tens of billions of U.S. tax dollars, don't have enough tanks. I think it's a fair question to ask, where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern. Tucker, I've heard that routine from you before, but that's not my concern.
Now, he says that twice, Nige.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the tanks and stuff in Ukraine, and it's an unfortunate soundbite. But I think he wasn't saying, at least initially, I thought that's what he was saying, was he's not concerned about deteriorating cities in America. But I think what he's really alluding to there is, like, Tucker mentioned, you're concerned with tanks in Ukraine. And I think that's what as unfortunate of a soundbite as that is, it could be taken the wrong way. He sure didn't put on a great performance. Pence did.
There wasn't a lot of America first in the answers of all of these candidates. DeSantis didn't do too bad. Ramaswamy didn't do too bad.
I liked Ramaswamy. I thought he did well.
But Tucker's whole angle here is, listen, you can say what you want about Ukraine. You can say what you want about Russia. But honestly, more American deaths are coming because of fentanyl coming across the Mexican border. Yeah. China, is that they're doing? Is it Mexico's doing? Why don't we spend some money in the United States? That was Tucker's angle, and all of these guys just screwed up that question incredibly bad. Now, Mike Pence wasn't done because, as you know, Mike Pence, he prides himself on being a man of faith. Some people would point to him as being the religious candidate of this GOP field this year. Well, Tucker Carlson kind of asked him about the Christians that are being persecuted in Ukraine by the Ukrainian government.
On this question, it's very clear that the Zelensky government has arrested priests for having views they disagree with. That's not consistent with religious liberty. It's an attack on it, and we're funding it. And I'm just wondering how and I don't mean to be disrespectful at all, but I sincerely wonder how a Christian leader could support the arrest of Christians for having different views.
Well, what I can tell you is I asked the Christian leader in Kiev if that was in fact happening, and he assured me that it was not. People were not being persecuted for their religious beliefs. Now,
he said
let me take a break here. I know we disagree on this strongly, but I respect your right to your opinion on Ukraine, and I trust you'll respect mine. And I believe that it is in the interest of the United States of America to continue to give the Ukrainian military the resources that they need to repel the Russian invasion and restore their sovereignty.
So you see where Mike Pence and Tucker Carlson are having a little disagreement here.
Yeah.
Tucker's like, wait a minute, you are Mr. Religious Freedom. RIFRA, anybody. You're Mr. Religious Freedom. But we've got credible reports that Zelensky's government is locking up Christians in Ukraine. How can you want to send them more money? How can you send them more aid? Here's a little bit more of that back and forth.
May I ask, would you be, and I believe you have a good faith position on this, and we have disagreements on it, but I want to I can't let you elide over the question of the treatment of Christians. And
I know, I heard
and
that
would
again,
you be,
Tucker.
well, no, but hold on. Would you be
problem is
willing?
You don't accept my answer. I just told you that I asked the religious leader in Kiev if it was happening. You asked me if I raised the issue, and I did.
And I'm saying
I also raised it with the Ukrainians, and I was told that there are...
Don't you think...
Let me explain to you what I think our national interest is there.
I would think you would have greater concern for religious liberty in Ukraine. And I'm surprised by your
I told you
answer.
I raised the issue of religious liberty.
No, you spoke to one person who's clearly on one side of it, and there are many, many news reports that are not disputed by anybody that many clergy have been arrested in Ukraine. And I'm merely saying I may not agree with their views. I'm not Russian Orthodox, but you can't arrest clergy for having different views, period. Because if you do, you violate the basic tenet of religious liberty.
I want to be clear with you. I won't stand by it. I won't stand for it.
So you heard that crowd reaction there, Nige. Who do you think the crowd is behind? Mike Pence or Tucker Carlson?
Oh, please. They were booing Mike Pence at one point. And I think the problem with the whole Ukraine thing is, they've got a blank check. We're going to go as long as it takes. But nobody really knows what that means. And what does it mean to win in Ukraine? What does a win look like? Nobody can define that exactly. And while I think I want nothing to do with Ukraine, by the way. I don't want anything. I don't want to be involved in it. You want to send humanitarian aid, fine. But the goalposts keep getting moved back. Now Biden wants to possibly send in reserve troops to Ukraine. Remember when Patriot missiles weren't even a possibility? And then all of a sudden we're giving them missiles. And then tanks weren't a possibility. Oh, yeah, we're giving them tanks. No troops on the ground. No, that's the red line. And now Biden's considering sending reservists over there. I just don't like where this is headed.
What I loved about this Iowa event is that you're not going to find that on television. You're not going to go to CNN and see Jake Tapper criticize a Democrat. You're not going to turn on MSNBC and see Rachel Maddow or Joy Reid say something critical about a Democrat. Tucker Carlson's right there with Mike Pence, giving him the business right to his face. Both guys are on the same side. Both guys are Republicans, but that's why I love Tucker. That's why I think this event worked. If this were on television, you'd find a bunch of butt sniffers that would just carry the water for people. That's not what Tucker did here, and I thought that's why this event worked.
Well, I'm just disappointed. I feel like it was a failure because they didn't get Chris Christie to come to the forum.
The buffet wasn't promised, and that's why
the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Christie was a no-go. They couldn't guarantee that the buffet would be intact. He wasn't there. Chris Christie was a no-go, and what Christie did in turn was jump on ABC with, speaking of butt sniffers, George Sniffleupagus, always sniffing that rear end of the Democrats, and says that Tucker's always been wrong about Ukraine.
I would have said, you've always been wrong about this, Tucker, and you're still wrong. That, in fact, what's going on, George, is that this is a proxy war with China. The Chinese are funding the Russian war by buying Russian oil. They're coordinating with the Iranians to provide lethal weapons to the Russian army. And we could decide when to have this conflict. Right now, the Ukrainians are willing to fight this fight for themselves if they have our support to be able to win it. If the Chinese watch us back away from Ukraine, as Tucker Carlson and others would advocate, believe me, the next move will be Taiwan.
He was getting standing ovations. You don't think that's a big sell in the Republican Party?
I don't. And I'll tell you, as I travel around, George, look, I'm not saying there's not some division in the party. There is. That's obvious. But I still absolutely believe, both from what I've seen in polling and what I'm experiencing anecdotally, that a majority of Republicans want us to be supporting Ukraine because those folks are fighting for their own freedom, their own liberty, and they're degrading the Russian army and sending a message to the Chinese. Those are all good things for America.
Ukraine is not a U.S. ally. That's the thing. Ukraine is not a United States ally. Just because you might hate Russia worse doesn't mean you have to stick your nose in it.
And to a lesser extent, why didn't he go to this presidential forum with Tucker Carlson through the Blaze Network and answer those questions instead of Sniffleupagus?
Well, Tucker has responded on Twitter. Nige, quote, sounds like this could be a longer conversation. We just asked Governor Christie to sit down and explain his views on Ukraine. He refused. You hate to think that Chris Christie is a blustery coward who plays the tough guy with sycophants at ABC, but won't answer real questions. But who knows? We hope he reconsiders. That was the tweet from Tucker Carlson. Now, DeSantis was there. He probably did the best out of anybody there. He didn't wow the crowd. He didn't, electrify the crowd. It wasn't like he walked off stage and you wanted Van Halen to play one more song. But he didn't embarrass himself like a lot of those candidates did. Now, are you good with this? DeSantis, he's going to have a big sit-down interview with Jake Tapper on CNN.
Oh, boy. Big get for Tapper. Wow.
Now, and a lot of Trump fans are like, look at him running to CNN. But guess what Donald Trump did earlier in the year?
Yeah.
Had a big high-profile town hall with Caitlin Collins on CNN. I think if you're Ron DeSantis, you've got to try anything right now to try to get some momentum going. Got to kickstart that campaign just a little bit. All right, Matt Baer, we've got a lot going on today. A very high-profile funeral taking place downtown. The procession made its way to Crown Hill. What's the latest?
Right now, getting into downtown is not good because the North Split is closed. Access from southbound 65 and westbound 70 into the North Split shut down right now because of a crash. All traffic being pushed into the local ramp that is the collector with Michigan Street, Ohio, and Fletcher. As part of this crash, 2 left lanes blocked on northbound 65, 70 and Fletcher Avenue. Traffic is stopped into the South Split. Eastbound 70 now stopped because of it. Belmont to the South Split. Northbound 65 backed up to Keystone Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Isaacs and Isaacs. Were you hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident? The insurance companies don't have the advantage of video proof that the Hammer may have. Call today or visit roadproof.wewin.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
I posted a photo on our Facebook and Twitter. A listener very upset at what he appears to be Jefferson Shreve selling out.
Oh, man, look at that.
And ripped up his yard sign, sent us the photo. So if you want to see that, that's Hammer and Nigel on Facebook, Twitter. Please follow us, like us, stalk us, do all the things. Right now, it's 83 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Is this anything? Next.
You got to go with the only real estate agent I'd trust to sell my house. That's Mark Deedle. Kevin and Lori up in Monon. That's about, like 30 minutes north of Lafayette. Their family was growing. The house they were in was too small. They found a bigger house that they needed to sell for top dollar to afford the bigger place. Mark Deedle and his team made it happen. And the home sold in 7 days.
What I love about Mark Deedle is the guarantee. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That is the Mark Deedle guarantee. That's what makes him the best in the business. Call right now. Let Mark Deedle answer all the questions you have. 317-755-4232. That's 755-4232. Or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdeedle.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain above your eyes, below your eyes? Sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
Is your investment portfolio really customized? Some advisors say they customize them, but all they really do is ask you a few questions, then put all your money in a model portfolio. Here at Creative Planning, each of our private wealth management clients' portfolios is unique. Your investment mix will be based on your custom financial plan. If that's not how your money's managed, you're not getting the customization you deserve. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
There's nothing like the freedom of the open road and the bond bikers share here in Indiana. But motorcycle wrecks can result in very serious injuries like a TBI and broken neck.
At Isaacs & Isaacs, we are the attorneys for bikers. We know bikers because many of us are bikers.
So we take motorcycle wrecks personally. And our team will fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
Click and get help quick at WeWin.com. That's WeWin.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Now through month end, get summer road trip ready at Hubler, where every new car includes their 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Visit drivehubler.com.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Hammer, how do we play Is This Anything?
Now that you are back, Nige, I'll run the stories by you. You break down all the information and tell us if it's anything or not.
Alrighty.
Is this anything? A TikToker is now claiming that she struggles from time blindness.
Was that a real thing? Time blindness? What is that?
It's basically someone who is constantly late and tardy. They have trouble being, on time to various places. Here they are making their case for time blindness.
So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time? And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else. And then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist. And if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job. And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, that culture needs to be dismantled.
Dismantle the culture of bosses requiring you to be on time for your job because of a made-up condition called time blindness. Welcome to Generation Z, where they talk like this. I'm applying for a job, and I'm just inquiring to find out if you have accommodations for time blindness.
You have your own bathroom. Be here at 8.
Could you imagine somebody looking at you and talking like this and saying, before I decide whether or not I want to come work for you, I need to know if there are accommodations for time blindness?
Well, we did have Ari around for a little while. Ari was close. Ari got close a few times.
Yeah, there was a few times he was out. He was down at Qdoba, and Matt Baer had to come in here and run the soundboard for us because he didn't get back in time.
Time blindness was close.
Yeah, but that's pretty much par for the course for TikTok and Generation Z. I don't know what comes after Generation Z. I don't want to know, but I weep for the future.
Can we get Hootie to make a song? Time, why you blinded me?
That was a little bit of Hootie plus Eddie Vedder.
All my musical impressions sound the same, pretty much. My Hootie, my Eddie Vedder, it's all the same. Is this anything? A member of the Detroit Police Board of Commissioners has resigned after being caught with a hooker.
Oh, no.
And performing sexual acts.
Oh, goodness.
Now, the commissioner's board member being caught says that it's all a big misunderstanding. Here is the police captain talking about what the officers saw firsthand.
From my information, when they came upon his vehicle, he was having a sex act conducted on him. At that time, Mr. Brian Ferguson stepped out, identified himself as a Detroit police commissioner. Obviously, it was blatant. It's, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's light out. A title or a position doesn't make him above the law.
It's all a big misunderstanding, huh?
That was not a sex act, what you saw performing.
You did not see my pants around my ankles. I mean, just saying it's all a big misunderstanding is the equivalent of that scene in Something About Mary in the highway rest area. Where it's all the guys are doing lewd acts to each other and Ben Stiller trips over and then the cops bust him. I was just peeing, and all the other guys stand up. I was just peeing too.
We're all just peeing.
I'm sure you were all just peeing. Now I'm looking at this guy, this Detroit police commissioner, by the way. He's not a bad looking guy. He doesn't look like a guy that would need to go to a known prostitute. And it also shows a picture of him and his wife. His wife's hot. Some people just need it more than others. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, I believe.
What I took from that, Nigel thinks only ugly people get hookers. That needs to be on, if we get the Hammer and Nigel Show merch store going, only ugly people get hookers. Nigel. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Oh, man, AAA saved me the other day. Got into my car to go to work, dead. Wouldn't start, needed a new battery. AAA was in my driveway within 30 minutes, yanked the old one out, put the new one in, and I was on my way. Hey, big news from my friends at AAA. Another way your AAA membership could save you money. AAA's newest approved service partner, Jiffy Lube of Indiana, offers AAA members $25 off a Jiffy Lube signature service oil change every Thursday on AAA Day. Just show your AAA card and save.
And don't forget AAA's legendary roadside service. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas. Lock your keys in the car. AAA is there 24/7, 365. What are you waiting for? Join AAA today. To get your AAA membership, visit AAA.com. Call 844-GO-AAA-GO or visit a local AAA office. AAA members save $25 every Thursday on AAA Day at Jiffy Lube. Visit AAA.com/Jiffy Lube to find a location near you.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How he's being remembered. Cloudy at 83 in downtown Indianapolis. Your radar is clear, but storms could develop around Indy later. Low of 64 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:29. Friends and family of John Durham remembered and honored the life of the Marion County deputy today, a week after he was killed by an inmate.
We can preserve his memory, honor his sacrifice.
Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett speaking at Cambridge Fieldhouse this morning during the funeral service for Durham. He's being laid to rest at Crown Hill Cemetery this afternoon. Scattered thunderstorms are possible across Indiana this week, but that is likely to change Thursday.
Thursday, we get a pattern change. So we get some of the humidity out of there. Temperatures come down a little bit drier pattern into the weekend, it looks like.
Randy Bowers with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says high temperatures will be in the low 80s in most of the state. He says you should also expect the air quality to continue to not be that great until at least the middle of the week. President Biden is outraising Republicans and Democrats who are in the race for president in 2024. Fox's Rich Edson reports.
The White House is touting their numbers as you would imagine most campaign organizations would do. They say that this puts them on solid footing going into a primary and really a general election season. This is what the Biden campaign had to say about their fundraising, that $72 million. Quote, these numbers show Americans are rejecting a Republican field that wants to roll back the economic progress we've made. We're well on our way to winning that fight. $72 million his campaign, PAC supporting him, and state parties have raised put the president ahead of his Republican and Democratic challengers for the quarter.
Most of the president's donations have come from rich donors instead of small contributors. The White House is not happy with Russia, who pulled out of a deal with Ukraine to ship its grain supply worldwide.
These shipments have helped drive down and stabilize global prices. And every shipment under the initiative has contributed to reducing hardship in the world's poorest countries.
National Security spokesman John Kirby. The Kremlin says they'll suspend the grain deal until they get better terms that allow them to export their own food and fertilizer. Your stock report, the Dow up 76 points to 34,585. The Nasdaq finishing up 131 to 14,244. And the S&P 500 up 17 points today to 4,522. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:31.
Here's Jiffy Lube owner Steve Center and Rod Brown, Director of Operations.
Hey, Rod, what drives you nuts these days?
You mean aside from having such a demanding boss?
Hey, now, if we don't expect perfection from ourselves, how will we ever achieve excellence? Any job worth doing is worth doing right. Dare to be great.
Geez, I was just kidding, boss. What drives me nuts is how some people seem to think all they need to do to take care of their car is to change the oil.
I know, so many competitors just drain the oil, change the filter, slap you on the tailpipe, and kick you out the door.
At Jiffy Lube, we believe information is power. That's why we include a thorough inspection of all the important parts of your car that need to be properly maintained in order to be safe and to get the most life possible out of your engine.
At Jiffy Lube, everything we do is designed to help you make 200,000 miles the new 100,000 miles. We specialize in replacing parts that wear out, and we do not pay commissions, so you can trust that our advice is all about helping you take great care of your car.
Helping you get the most out of your engine. Indiana's favorite, Jiffy Lube.
With traffic at 4:32, here's Matt Baer.
Harrison, a crash southbound 6570 Washington Street has closed the north split from access from westbound 70 and southbound 65. Neither interstate can continue southbound 6570 like you're going to Greenwood. Instead, you're getting pushed into downtown right now. Rerouting traffic diverted to southbound 6570 collector with Michigan Street, Ohio Street, and Fletcher Avenue. It is a mess because coming northbound 6570, still downtown now. Crash blocking two left lanes, the same crash, and that's going to be before Washington Street, stopping traffic into the south split. Slow to Keystone Avenue, eastbound 70, finish from Holt Road on into the south split. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Scattered showers and storms will develop this evening with the threat for isolated strong to severe storms. Wind and hail will be the primary threats with lows in the low 60s tonight. Tomorrow, isolated showers and storms possible with highs in the mid-80s. I'm Wish TV storm tracking meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And Marion County under a severe thunderstorm watch that continues until midnight, just announced. I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Oops, Kamala Harris did it again, Hammer. She used her, I don't know, how do you say it? She used her go-to line, her crutch line, if you will, right?
Catchphrase, maybe. Some people would call it a catchphrase. Like, remember on the old Tonight Show, Ed McMahon's go-to, his catchphrase was, hi-oh!
Right.
And then on the Larry Sanders Show, the character based off of Ed McMahon, I think it was Hank Kingsley.
Yeah, hey now.
Hey now. So Kamala Harris, her go-to line is unburdened by what has been. And she was speaking at some event with Jesse Jackson. And take a listen to what she brings to the conversation.
And it is with this understanding, this vision, to see what can be unburdened by what has been.
There it is.
That Rev has dedicated his life to building that coalition.
Now, if you think we're making this up, here's a little montage of previous and very different speeches from one Kamala Harris.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know? What can be unburdened by what has been. 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 Who we can be, unburdened by who we have been. What can be unburdened by what has been. Where we can be, unburdened by where we have been, and unburdened by where we are right now. What can be unburdened by what has been.
Oh, that's your vice president right there. She's working on the really important stuff. One of the headlines I saw last week was that Kamala is working on accessible bathrooms in airplanes. Did you read that headline?
I missed that one.
Yeah, that's one of the things she's concentrating on, making sure that all airplanes have accessible bathrooms for people.
So when she met, I'm sure, with the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, right, that was probably number one thing at the top of their list. Not labor shortages or anything like that.
She's got to feel like such an idiot. She is working for a nincompoop who she accused of being racist, believed his accuser, and Tara Reid, and she was the first to drop out of the Democrats during their primary. And all that, I mean, she gave up her gig as one of the 100 most powerful people in the country to be basically a figurehead for a doofus. She's got to feel bitter. She was hired solely because she was an African-American woman. That is all.
Let's go back to the doofus and nincompoop for just a moment, because he also has been known to use the same phrase over and over again.
Ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. No one needs to have a weapon that can fire over 30, 40, 50, even up to 100 rounds, unless you think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests or something.
What in God's name do you need an assault weapon for except to kill someone? Deer aren't running through the forest with Kevlar vests on, for God's sake. Ban assault weapons with high-capacity magazines will up to 100 rounds. You think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests?
When the Democrats find a joke or a phrase, they burn it down, baby. They go at it time after time. Remember during the Democratic primary that took place just before 2020, Amy Klobuchar, she announced her run for the presidency during this really snowy event, and Donald Trump had made a joke about it. And I swear to God, every single speech Amy Klobuchar gave, it didn't matter which TV network it was, she got this in.
So I wrote back, hey, Donald Trump, the science is on my side, and I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. So I wrote back, Donald Trump, the science is on my side, and I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. Sometimes, if you haven't noticed, you use a little humor. Like when he called me Snow Woman at my announcement in the middle of that thing. I wrote back on Twitter, I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. So I wrote back. I tweeted back. The science is on my side. I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard.
Great moments and catchphrases here on the Hammer and Nigel
Before we
show.
move on, can you just replay just the beginning of the Biden one again, the deer in the Kevlar vest, Allison? Can you
ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. No one needs to have a weapon that can fire over 30, 40, 50, even up to 100 rounds.
Right, you could cut it off right there. No one needs a weapon where you can fire a 40, 50, or 100 rounds. Why don't you ask the citizens of Ukraine if they need those weapons? Because they've been handing those weapons out left and right to anybody that will take them in Ukraine. We're funding that, but yet people can't have those weapons here in the United States to defend themselves.
Do deer in Europe run around with Kevlar vests on? Maybe that's what's happening. I don't know.
Yeah, the Russian soldiers and the Wagner group, they have Kevlar vests on, and that's why they're handing them out. Just a side note, and I'm just saying, all right?
Hey, you want to hear from somebody who's full of crap, Nigel?
It could be any number of people.
So John Kerry, he was testifying
I
earlier.
thought you were going to say we had an exclusive interview with Jefferson Sharif.
I've invited him on here. You know, our executive producer, Matt's trying to get him on here. He's going on with Rob, but he's not coming in here. So good for Rob. But John Kerry, he also was full of crap. He was testifying earlier, and he got called out for being Mr. Emissions, Mr. You're going to ruin the environment, even though he had a private plane for years that studies show one trip in his private plane is worse than you driving your car for a lifetime. And take a listen to this. He denies under oath that he ever owned a private plane. And then when he gets busted on it, he throws his wife under the bus.
So I just don't agree with your facts, which began with the presentation of one of the most outrageously persistent lies that I hear, which is this private jet. We don't own a private jet. I don't own a private jet. I personally have never owned a private jet. And obviously, it's pretty stupid to talk about coming in a private jet from the State Department up here. It just, honestly, if that's where you want to go, go there.
A few moments later. You just testified under oath that you never owned a private jet. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter into the record article here from February 15th of 2023. The John Kerry family private jet was sold shortly after accusations of climate hypocrisy. Mr. Secretary, do you stand by that testimony that you've never owned or
I personally,
your family?
Personally, yes, my wife owned a plane.
Oh, come on, dude. You threw your wife under the bus? You Frankenstein-looking freak.
Oh, how many? There's countless pictures of him getting off private planes. These people are all hypocrites. They're grifters. They use climate change as a tool to further their progressive agendas. And they all do it, whether it's Leo DiCaprio tweeting about climate change and how we need to take care of the environment when he's on his big old 300-foot yacht with 20 different models and, sailing around the Amalfi Coast. Give me a break. They're all hypocrites.
By the way, have you seen the viral video of a woman who actually is vacationing in the Amalfi Coast? I've never heard of it before until one of our old bosses went there, like when we were told, hey, we can't pay you any bonus money right now because of COVID. And then we go to social media, his whole damn family's down at the Amalfi Coast.
Yeah, that's in Italy. Yeah.
I never knew where the hell it was.
It goes to Italy.
A woman did a viral video from there saying, yeah, all you cool people acting like going to the Amalfi Coast is great. Here's why it stinks. You have to take a boat to get to where you need to be, and then the boat takes you onto another boat. There's really no elevators there. You got to lug all of your luggage onto the boat, up the stairs. The Amalfi Coast stinks.
Oh, boy. I don't know. I'm looking at pictures here. Yeah, but if I got to walk upstairs, then I'm out. Yeah, you're right.
With all of your luggage after the flight, right? Once you get to the very top of your villa or your palace, based on what I've seen, it looks beautiful. It looks amazing, but I don't want to carry all my luggage and crap up all of those stairs and through the town and on a boat. That's a hard pass for me. Real quick, Allison, let's do some legal stuff. crime, punishment, judges, legal stuff.
Breaking the law.
Speaking of breaking the law, somebody broke the law by bringing cocaine into the White House, but they're not going to get in trouble for it.
The investigation's closed, isn't it?
After 2 weeks, they said, you know what? We're not going to have an answer for this. I mean, that's basically just a big middle finger to the American public, right? Because it's easy to figure out whose blow this was. Any cop will tell you, with all of the video access they've got at the White House, especially near the most important room, the Situation Room, and the fingerprints that are probably on the baggie of coke, they could have had this solved in 30 minutes to an hour. But the Secret Service, nothing to see here, people, nothing to see here. John Kirby, the top Biden spokesman, he went on Fox News Sunday with Shannon Bream and basically just shrugged his shoulders and said, what can you do?
It's case closed. In less than 2 weeks, we know nothing about who brought this in, inability to track people, no surveillance cameras. What if it was something much more dangerous?
Well, again, I can't really speak to the investigation that was done by the Secret Service. They did the best they could to track down how it got there and who it might have belonged to, and they were not able to come up with any forensic evidence that proves it. But of course, look, we take this seriously. That's not the kind of thing we want to see happen. If there's things we can do to prevent that in the future, certainly we'll do that. Nobody's happy about this.
Yeah, and Shannon Bream said the quiet part out loud there at the end of her question, which was, I mean, if you could basically sneak cocaine in to this part of the White House, what if it was something more dangerous, like anthrax or some sort of biological agent?
Right.
Which is really scary to think about.
Or, more likely, what if it was a Republican that left the cocaine in the White House? I bet we would have had that bastard locked up a long time ago. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
There's no hiding from Bluebell Monster Cookie Dough Ice Cream. Creamy vanilla ice cream, peanut butter monster cookie dough, brown sugar, candy-coated chocolate, and dark chocolate flavored chunks. A taste so good, you'll need a bigger bowl.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at select Kroger stores.
I have a friend who just moved to St. Louis. Huge career switch. But she's still paying mortgage here in town, just killing her financially. She used the traditional home selling process as something like an agent that had been in the family forever, and what a nightmare this has been. Matt Bear here. Hey, it makes me know that I'm using Open Door and the Open Door app because they let me skip all the hassles that come with buying and selling your home. You pick the closing date, so no double mortgages. You're in control from the very beginning in the process. Man, it's so streamlined. You could request an offer from anywhere on any device, even sell your house and buy your next house all in one move. I mean, there isn't always a perfect time to move. Open Door can help any time be a perfect time. Take control of your move when you start with Open Door. Visit opendoor.com or download the Open Door app to get started. That's opendoor.com or download the Open Door app. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage Incorporated, license 020-61130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage LLC in its other markets. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, save up to 50% plus extra discounts for cash, plus we pay your sales tax during the Made in the USA sale. Everything from Indiana-made Smith Brothers, Lazy Boy, patio furniture by Berlin Gardens and Pollywood, and save up to $500 on mattresses, including Tempur-Pedic. Now through Monday, save big only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus with free delivery.
Reach your savings goals. Busey Bank CD specials can help. Watch your money grow with competitive rates and offers. Visit Busey.com/CD rates. Visit your local service center or call 1-800-67-BUSEY today. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868.
What is 988? It's a way forward. It's a listening ear. It's whatever help you need when you need it. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline offers trained crisis specialists ready to talk to you 24/7. If you or someone you love is experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis in their life, call or text 988. Want more information? Visit 988indiana.org.
The latest local news, commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, podcasts. Listen to the station live whenever, wherever, online at WIBC.com.
Matt Bayer, what's going on?
Downtown North Split going south is closed. There's a crash southbound 6570 at Washington Street, so you cannot go from westbound 72 southbound or southbound 65. Continuing southbound to Greenwood, everybody's getting pushed into the downtown exit ramp with Michigan Street, Fletcher Avenue. Northbound 65 as 72 left lanes are closed because of that crash before Washington Street, stopping traffic back to Keystone and stopping eastbound 70 from Holt Road into the South Split. Northeast side's a mess. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Coming up a little bit after 5 o'clock, if you missed any of the incredible service for fallen Marion County Deputy John Durham, we will have that coming up. Plus, update on the governor's race funding and somebody in the mix for an Indiana Senate seat. All of that's coming up right now. 83 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hammer's over there. My name is Nigel. That's Jason Aldean. You're hearing in the background there, coming in with a song of his. He was in the news recently. He had to run off stage and end the concert that he was performing abruptly because of heat exhaustion. Here is Jason Aldean explaining what happened.
Thanks to everybody that's calling in, checking. I'm doing fine. It was hot. I was playing golf all day yesterday, and then got to the show, and just I think it was a combination of dehydration and just heat exhaustion. Anybody that was at the show knows how hot it was, and just get off stage and figure out what was going on. I had a couple of IVs. I had one last night when I came off stage, had one today. Again, I apologize for cutting the show short, but we'll come back and make it up to you, and I'm feeling a lot better, so thank you guys for checking in, and we'll see you tonight.
First of all, I bet he doesn't have to come back and make it up to him, because there's a window there where as long as you stay on stage for a certain amount of time, you get paid. So if it's coming up, within a half hour or so, he gets yanked off stage because he's suffering from heat exhaustion, you get paid the full funds, I would assume. And the other thing with this is you are at the top of your game. You're one of the world's biggest names in country music. You're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Do you not know? Do you not understand? You got to keep your body hydrated while you're on stage. Before you have to be in shape. You have to do the things that a country music singer would do.
You can't drink 18 beers playing golf the day before.
He goes, we were golfing all day before. So man, had to cut. So I'm glad you had fun golfing, Jason. But maybe take care of your body a little bit more.
They're going to make a movie one day on Jason Aldean, and it's going to be wild because some of the things that have happened to this guy in his career. So you have this situation where he runs off the stage, but don't forget, he was the act that was performing when the Las Vegas massacre happened.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
He had to run off the stage and take cover, and people were hiding behind, his stage with him. They're going to make a hell of a movie one day about Jason Aldean. But in the meantime, here's great moments in concert history. Joe Jonas recently admitted in an interview that while on stage, he pooped his pants.
I was with a few friends yesterday, and we were just talking about, there's a point in your life where, as an adult, you can remember the last time you your pants. This was, I think, about 4 years ago. And let's just say it was a bad day to choose to wear white clothing. You think it might be a little toot. It might have been a little something else, a little something extra. There's a wardrobe change halfway through the show, and it maybe was a little bit like They're like, oh, that was an interesting choice to change clothes that quickly. So that's a story I've never told, and also that's just real life. It was a light one. It wasn't a full, you know.
So he sharded on stage wearing white pants, and he had to exit stage left to do a quick wardrobe change. Yeah, that's why I don't wear white. Do you own white pants? That's the reason exclusively why I don't own white pants.
You're afraid you're going to poop yourself?
Yep. I mean, who knows? We've all been there.
Yeah.
I had to leave my boxers at a Tampa International Airport a long time ago because of that exact same instance.
So really, you and Joe Jonas, you're really the same guy. Great moments in concert history. Here's Miranda Lambert stopping her show in Vegas to call out a group of girls in the audience who were more interested in taking selfies than watching the show.
Something bound to fall apart. I'm going to stop right here for a sec, Danny. I'm sorry. These girls are worried about their selfie and not listening to the song. It's pissing me off a little bit.
Oh, whatever.
They paid their money.
Country music tonight. I'm singing some country damn music. Shall we start again?
Yeah, get over yourself, Miranda Lambert. These girls were that's what happens when little girls come and watch your show. They take selfies. Welcome to 2023.
My favorite, though, great moments in concert history. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Grohl.
Get the out of my show right now. Get the out. Get the out of my show. You don't come to my show and fight. You come to my show and dance, you ass.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Have you saved enough? Do you have a plan for Social Security and taxes in retirement? Hey, Casey Weed of Howard Bailey Financial, where our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we want to give you our Retire with Purpose Toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you can't outlive. Plus, you'll receive a copy of my book, Job Optional. To get your complimentary toolkit, call or text the keyword INFO 42 to 866-482-9559. That's INFO 42 to 866-482-9559.
Howard Bailey Financial is the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hi, this is Malia with Family Heating and Air, and as a mom myself, I know it's really important to keep the kiddos healthy. Air quality, humidity, those are super big issues on my concern list. If you share any of these concerns, give family a call, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Whether you're an experienced firearms owner or just thinking about getting a new firearm, Atkinson Firearms in Greenwood has everything you need. With brands like Glock, Smith & Wesson, Canik, Colt, Henry, SIG, and much more. If Atkinson Firearms doesn't have it, they can get it. Plus accessories, from holsters to ammo and everything between. Atkinson Firearms is firefighter owned and veteran staff with a new larger location. Follow Atkinson Firearms on Facebook. Atkinson Firearms, off County Line Road next to the Greenwood Airport.
Let us send you your home's value today. Go to HoosierHomeValues2023.com. From Crossroads Collective, title sponsor of the First Day, Sundays 11 to 1.
Tony Katz here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg. Not only Central Indiana's premier arms dealer, but they are also the home of PA Jewelers, the jewelry store inside Premier Arms. They do a tremendous amount of estate buying, so they'll buy your used firearms and then they buy your used jewelry. You know, the stuff from grandma that nobody wears anymore, they're buying it, and they have one-of-a-kind pieces that you are going to love. Rings, bracelets, necklaces, watches, the works. Check them out in Brownsburg. 317-858-3030 or online at premierarms.com.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how Marion County Deputy John Durham was remembered this morning. The air quality's not great today, plus thunderstorms on the way north of downtown. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
Holding up the new abortion standard in Iowa. I'm Kevin Uretsky, Fox News. We're just learning an Iowa judge has temporarily blocked the state's new ban on most abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy, just days after Governor Kim Reynolds signed it into law. For now, abortion is once again legal in Iowa up to 20 weeks of pregnancy. Courts will assess the new law's constitutionality. The White House is hammering Russia for its decision to pull out of a deal that allows Ukraine to ship its grain supply worldwide. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby.
These shipments have helped drive down and stabilize global prices. And every shipment under the initiative has contributed to reducing hardship in the world's poorest countries.
Kirby says the U.S. not considering a blockade of Russia. The search continuing for 2 missing children swept away in a flash flood in Upper Makefield, Pennsylvania over the weekend.
Crews are able to use a lot more equipment in the search for 9-month-old baby boy Conrad and his older sister, 2-year-old Matilda. Police just confirmed their identities in the last hour. And they say with weather improving, they're now able to use equipment in the air, underwater, and canines on the ground because the rain has finally let up.
Fox Weather's Katie Byrne. 5 people died in that flash flooding.
This is a severe weather alert from the Chapman Heating and Air Conditioning Storm Desk.
The National Weather Service in Indianapolis has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Boone County, southeastern Fountain County, northwestern Montgomery County, and that lasts until 5:40 this afternoon. A severe thunderstorm located near Vetersburg, or about 16 miles west of Crawfordsville. Hazards include ping-pong, ball-sized hail, and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. People and animals outdoors will be injured. Expect hail damage to roofs, siding, windows, vehicles. Expect wind damage as in those areas as well. This severe thunderstorm will be near Waynetown around 5 o'clock, Alamo around 5:10. Again, that's the National Weather Service in Indianapolis issuing a severe thunderstorm warning for Boone County, southeastern Fountain County, and northwestern Montgomery County.
Carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Remembering a fallen deputy, cloudy at 83 in the circle. Radar clear for now. There are storms to the northwest. Temps drop to the mid-60s after sunset. Marion County is under a severe thunderstorm watch until midnight. Boone County is under a warning until 5:40. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:03. Marion County Deputy John Durham was killed in the line of duty last week. Hundreds of people honored his life at a funeral Monday morning. John Herrick reports.
Durham's colleagues on the force came into Gainbridge Fieldhouse to music provided by Captain Brian Wolf, as did the rest of his family. The service, led by Father Douglas Hunter, praying that Durham could rest in peace.
Let us pray for our brother, that he may share in Christ's victory.
Tears shed, memories recalled, and gratefulness was shown to a man who was kind and fair to everyone. Donations are being accepted on Durham's behalf at the Central Indiana Police Foundation, and you can offer your sympathy if you want to at crownhill.org. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Hazy skies today caused by smoke from Canadian wildfires.
We're just in that wind pattern that's keeping the smoke from the Canadian wildfires moving into central Indiana, so it's causing some issues with air quality. today once again.
Randy Bowers with the National Weather Service says it's best to avoid going outdoors. Thunderstorms also possible. Marion County mentioned before under a severe thunderstorm watch until midnight. Boone County under a warning until about 5:40. Traffic and weather's next. Your time is 5:04.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation, like business owner Brian.
Yeah, Galaxy was great. We have a business where a lot of the service techs are working out in the field, and they'll come in and they'll have even some mud or something on our shoes. So if we're having a meeting, I needed a flooring that could stand up to that, but still look good as an office setting.
Well, if you own a home or a business, Galaxy Concrete Coatings got you covered.
Galaxy was great to work around our schedule. They were able to come in on a Saturday, and the job was completed over the weekend, and we were back in business, so we didn't miss a step.
Lots of styles to choose from. 4 times stronger than epoxy and a 15-year warranty.
It's very nice looking. It's very durable. Really makes the room stand out and shine.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com now. That's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. And remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We're out of this world.
Galaxy was quick to respond. They were quick to give us a solution and quick to get it completed as well. And they're going to take care of you.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, how are the roads, Map Air?
They are the worst I've seen in a long time, Harrison. Eastbound 465 on the north side. Crash blocking 2 center lanes right around Westfield Boulevard. Stop to Meridian 31. Crash eastbound 465. Keystone Avenue. 2 right lanes are blocked, and then we are stopped after that to the White River. Crash westbound 465 at Allisonville Road, blocking the left lane. Express lane untouched. We are stop and go. Back to I-70. Crash inbound 69 to 82nd Street. That's blocking the right lane, stopping us 296. Southbound access in the north split right now closed because of a crash. More WIBC traffic. Traffic sponsored by Speedway. Small Slurpee drinks are only $1 at Speedway. That price is just a cherry on top of a frozen cherry-flavored treat. Slurpee, anything flows. Expires 12/31/2023 plus tax. Visit store for details. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Scattered showers and storms will develop this evening with the threat for isolated strong to severe storms. Wind and hail will be the primary threats with lows in the low 60s tonight. Tomorrow, isolated showers and storms possible with highs in the mid-80s. I'm Wish TV storm tracking meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
Just a somber way to start the week with yet another funeral, another procession, another burial of an Indiana law enforcement member who died in the line of duty. This time it was Marion County Deputy John Durham.
And the funeral was absolutely beautiful. Took place at Gamebridge Fieldhouse downtown. It's always very somber, but it's awe-inspiring when you see all the members of law enforcement that show up for these. It's an amazing sight.
And they come from all over the country.
Yes, all over the country. And again, beautiful service, but the key moments for me, the moments that really just tug at your heart, are when his kids came up on the stage. They were all up there together. John Jr. spoke first.
The family told me to write down a speech, but I wouldn't be my dad's son if I didn't just wing it. If you knew him, he didn't know a stranger. Whether it was the first time he met you, it was like you knew him for 20 years. I mean, all the stories I heard last night was he brought food in for everybody to work, brought in donuts. He was the life of the party. He was a good man. He lived life to the fullest. He treated everybody with respect, the inmates, to the people he worked with, to our family. He was a great man. I love you, Dad. Thank you.
Did you notice there? You said the inmates treated the inmates with respect. I'm assuming he probably treated his killer with respect right up until the moment he got loose and strangled him in that transportation, in the vehicle he was transporting him in.
Another son,
that was
Corey,
powerful.
Came up afterwards, and I think Corey saw his younger brother kind of having a hard time. You know, you heard him breaking up in his voice, and Corey, to his credit, he wanted to change the tone a little bit.
I get it. Everyone needs to cry, but you can be happy. You can smile. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. And you know why? We have a beautiful man, Jesus Christ, that's sitting there with Dad right now, smiling, laughing, dancing, you name it, they're doing it. So it's okay. Smile. When you see me, smile. However you feel, whatever you're feeling right now, just whether it's a round of applause, whether you want to stand up and just thank God or anything. So if we could, just please, let's give Dad a round of applause and just make any noise you want. It doesn't matter.
And then the whole place, everybody stood up, gave him a standing ovation.
I couldn't stand up there and even begin to talk about somebody that passed away, much less my father. I don't think I'd be physically, emotionally able to do that. And then for those guys to get up there and do that in front of all those people at Gameridge Fieldhouse is amazing to me.
A surprise message from Reggie Miller
Saw that,
was on the screens because the fallen deputy was a big Pacers fan, loved Reggie Miller, and used to work security courtside back when Reggie was a Pacer. So I thought it was kind of cool. Reggie recorded a message for the family. But again, after the service, when the procession makes its way to Crown Hill for that just very emotional graveside service, the 1042 call, that final end of watch, always just gets me. This is what it sounded like in front of the Community Justice Center.
On July 10th, 2023, Marion County Sheriff Deputy John Durham answered his final call. While transporting a prisoner from a medical appointment, Deputy Durham was assaulted and killed. There is no greater love than a man that would lay down their life for another. Marion County Sheriff's Office, Deputy John Durham, Sheriff 333, is 1042. He has gone home for the final time.
And we'll touch base with Matt Baer here in just a few minutes. Most of the activities are done for today, but there's still going to be a little bit of a backup, parts of downtown and over by Crown Hill Cemetery. So, Nige, we've been talking a lot about the presidential runs. Tucker Carlson doing his interviews over the weekend with some of the Republican candidates. But let's bring it back local here. Take a look at some of the money being raised for the governor's race here in Indiana. Mike Braun leading the pack right now. He has $2.2 million and reporting $4.6 million in cash on hand.
I mean, it's his to lose, isn't it, at this point? You think?
It is. He's the front runner.
Yeah.
In terms of other money, according to the latest round of reporting, businessman Eric Doden raised $1.7 million and has $3.8 million cash on hand, while Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch raised $1.1 million and has $3.8 million cash on hand.
So they're about wow. So Suzanne Crouch, so both of those that you just mentioned are about just a million shy of Braun. They're doing a decent job. Wow.
Now, Curtis Hill, he's in it now. He announced last week while you were gone. Obviously, there's no reporting of his financials yet, only being a week into the race, but Curtis Hill also a part of this. And let's talk about the Senate race here in Indiana. We've got a candidate going against Jim Banks. So
he doesn't have any Republicans coming out against him.
No, but we got a Democrat now.
Okay.
Keith Potts. He's a member of the Indy City County Council. And he put out this big video saying he feels like his experience and leadership working on the City County Council here in Indy would be ideal for Washington.
Will we be free to vote? Will we be free from gun violence in our communities? Will we still be a place where if you work hard and play by the rules, you can succeed? These aren't red or blue issues. These are things that make America special. I'm Keith Potts. On the council in Indianapolis, I stood up to the big guys so small business owners had a level playing field.
What?
And fought for our freedom to feel safe in our neighborhoods.
Whoa. Hold on. He said he was helping out small business. This dude kept small business owners from opening back up during the pandemic. This is the same Indy City County Council that supported keeping businesses closed during COVID. They supported the health department fining businesses and mandated masking, and he voted to restrict 2A rights. I'm telling you right now, this dude, he may be popular in the city county council here in Indy. He is going to get his ass whipped by Jim Banks. It's going to be one of the big blowouts you're going to see. He's just going to get blown out, which takes us to great moments in ass-beating history. Let's go back to when Ronald Reagan won 49 states against Mondale.
We're going to project another state for guess who?
Have very few left.
Guess who? Ronald Reagan wins the state of Hawaii. One of the most impressive presidential victories in American history.
49 states. Only Minnesota went from Mondale that year. Great moments in ass-beating history. Remember when the Dream Team was formed? You've got Michael Jordan. You've got Magic Johnson. You've got Charles Barkley. Their first game was against Angola. And
That's
somebody
right.
somebody asked Charles Barkley if he's seen a scouting report on Angola.
I don't know anything about Angola, but Angola's in trouble.
Great moments in ass-beating history.
We'll have to play that again after the Indianapolis mayoral election.
Unfortunately, you're right. We're going to do a round of Am I a Horrible Person coming up in just a moment. I'm going to tell you what happened to me at the gas station today. But first, Matt Bear.
All right, if you're trying to get into downtown right now, the North Foot is closed to drivers going south. That's right. Westbound 70 access, southbound 65 access to southbound 65-70 shut down because of a crash. Westbound 70 stopped to Emerson, southbound 65 jammed from MLK. Eastbound 70 is stopped from Tibbs Avenue into the South Split and stopped then up to Washington Street. Also looking at the north side, eastbound 465, 2 crashes between Meridian and Allisonville Road, also one in the westbound lanes. Traffic sponsored by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Severe thunderstorm watch for Marion County until midnight. Severe thunderstorm warning for Boone County until 5:40 p.m. It's 84 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. All right, so let's open up the phone lines here. We haven't played Am I a Horrible Person in about a week or so, but this happened today and this warrants a conversation. Allison, you can turn the music down here. So I'm in line at the gas station. This is a Speedway gas station. I have a bottle of Diet Mountain Dew, and I've got an energy bar. That's all I have. I need to check out. The woman in front of me, now to her credit, she has 2 kids, kind of being maniacs next to her. She buys lottery tickets. All right, fine. But she demands that the worker of the Speedway scan those tickets right away to see if they're winners or not.
No. So there's a way that you don't even have to play, really. You don't have to scratch them off. They can just scan it.
Well, the worker has to scratch off that little QR code area.
Yes.
So the worker says, do you want to step to the side and scratch these off? Her response, you can just do it.
No.
So at that point, I might not have realized how loud I was. I said, oh, come on. And she looks around and she says, I have waited in this line just as long as you have. And I may have said that's BS in front of her kids.
Oh, no.
So am I a horrible person for thinking that's ridiculous, buying the tickets and making the worker scratch the QR code off right there on the spot?
And so did he?
He did.
And you had to sit there and wait?
They opened up another line because I think they heard things starting to get a little loud, so to speak.
I'm on your... Okay, I hate it. I hate agreeing with you. But yeah, I think I'm on your side on this one.
The only reason I felt a little bad is her kids were there, and I started using some choice language. So 239-9393. Am I a horrible person for thinking that's ridiculous? Making the worker scratch the lottery ticket QR code thing right there on the spot and then getting mouthy at me because I think that's insane. 239-9393. Am I a horrible person? It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Oh, man, AAA saved me the other day. Got into my car to go to work, dead. Wouldn't start, needed a new battery. AAA was in my driveway within 30 minutes, yanked the old one out, put the new one in, and I was on my way. Hey, big news from my friends at AAA. Another way your AAA membership could save you money. AAA's newest approved service partner, Jiffy Lube of Indiana, offers AAA members $25 off a Jiffy Lube signature service oil change every Thursday on AAA Day. Just show your AAA card and save.
And don't forget AAA's legendary roadside service. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas, lock your keys in the car. AAA is there 24/7, 365. What are you waiting for? Join AAA today. To get your AAA membership, visit AAA.com. Call 844-GO-AAA-GO or visit a local AAA office. AAA members save $25 every Thursday on AAA Day at Jiffy Lube. Visit AAA.com/Jiffy Lube to find a location near you.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
Diamonds Direct's Midsummer Savings Event is happening right now with an extra 20% savings, an expanded selection, and in-store designer appearances. Take an extraordinary 20% off Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable prices on rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry, and thousands of engagement ring mountings. Meet the designers who've flown in with all new collections for the summer. The best savings, the best selection, the best value. Don't miss this once-a-year jewelry shopping event. Get details, showroom hours, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Are you working way too hard for way too little? There's never been a better time to consider a career in IT. You could enjoy a recession-resistant career in a rewarding field with plenty of growth opportunities and often flexible work environments. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new career in months, not years. Take classes online or on campus, and financial aid is available to qualified students, including the GI Bill. Now is the time. mycomputercareer.edu.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa.
Hammer and Nigel present Am I a Horrible Person?
Dude, you're awful. Horrible, horrible, horrible.
You're such a bad person. Like, all the way through to your core.
Hammer cursing loudly at a gas station at a woman and her kids earlier today. I think you might want to provide some context around that.
Yeah, and there were two kids, and they're both little hellions, man. They're creating hell. I kind of felt bad for the mom at first. You know, she's got stuff in her hands, and she's trying to wrangle in the little maniacs. But then she goes up to the counter, makes her purchase. I'm in line, and she buys a couple lottery scratchers. And instead of just taking the tickets and maybe scratching them off at home or in her car or stepping to the side, she just asked the clerk, "Hey, can you scan those to see if I won?"
While people are waiting in line behind her.
Correct. And I'm trying to get to work. You know, I don't want to be late because I got my hit with Rob coming up at 10:48. And the clerk says, "Well, I need to scratch these QR codes off." Go ahead and do that. No.
She made the clerk scratch off the QR code thing?
To see if they won. Yes. And I said, this is BS. She turns around and says, I've waited in this line as long as you have.
And you're about to wait a little bit longer.
And I may have said some other choice words after that. And her kids at that point, they kind of hug her leg and they opened up another line for me. And I walked back to my car and I thought, there's no way these people think I'm the problem, right? Am I the horrible person? Jason, welcome to the Hammer and Nigel show. Am I a horrible person?
You are my hero. You just didn't realize that you were in her world. I would have said more, and I promise you they've heard worse at home just knowing what you told me about the mother.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
luck, brother.
Right on. Thank you, Jason. Let's go to MJ. MJ, welcome to the Hammer and Nigel show.
I don't think you're a horrible person. Now, the mother, on the other hand, she's absolute dirtbag. But isn't that illegal? Like, what if she would have won $25,000 on a scratcher? Couldn't the gas station guy take ownership of it?
You know what? I never thought about that. I don't know what the rules and regulation are. We need to get somebody from the lottery office on that. I think the poor, worker at the Speedway just was trying to get the line to move quickly because it was a pretty good backup. And I waited in line a couple minutes and
it made me so mad.
It's so ridiculous. Thank you, MJ. Lisa, welcome to the Hammer and Nigel show. Am I a horrible person?
No, the woman in front of you is. And she has no consideration for other people waiting in line. And have we gotten so lazy that we can't scratch off our own lottery tickets? Really?
Yep.
That's where we're at. 100% where we're at. And that's a shame. Thank you, Lisa. Now, if you remember, Nige, just for a little backstory, this isn't the first time that I've yelled at a woman who's had a child nearby with filth, florin, and filth.
Okay.
There was a situation about 5-6 years ago now where myself and Chris, back when he was young, we were at a McDonald's. And we were leaving, and I held the door open for a woman walking up with her child. And the woman yells at me, I don't need a man to hold the door open for me. So I kind of looked around. I thought I was being punked or something. So I said, F you. Made my way out. So this is not the first time, but I really feel like I was in the right both times here. Jacob, welcome to the Hammer and Nigel show. Am I a horrible person?
Not necessarily. Maybe a little bit at the end there, but yeah, it's like, lady, just give the ticket to the kids, scratch off, and keep their hands busy, or I don't know, just wait until you get home.
Right. That's a great activity for the kids to do. Sit in the back seat, get your, candy bar and whatever you got, scratch these off and give them back to me later on. Keeps the kids
and don't
busy.
Lose them or throw them out the window.
That's true. Thank you, Luann. Welcome to the Hammer and Nigel show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Am I a horrible person, Luann?
No, and I work part-time at a retailer, and we are not allowed to scratch the tickets off for a customer.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the actual lottery rules are, but we're not allowed to. So the clerk should have taken care of it.
The last thing I want is the clerk to get in trouble here. Let me make this perfectly clear, because I think the clerk was just trying to get this line moving through fast and furious and diffuse a situation. I don't want the clerk to get in trouble, but yeah, He
probably should have said, though, I'm not allowed to. You're going to have to do this. Or, I don't know. We can't. I know that.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much for that. Let's take one more here. Let's just go blind here, Allison. Let's go to line number 1. Caller, welcome to the Hammer and Nigel show. What's your name, and am I a horrible person?
My name is Marcus, and no, you're not.
Why do you think I'm in the right here, Marcus?
All right, well, let's put it this way. I've been around the block. I'm up there with you guys, probably in age. I'm 40-something years old. What I think you did was the right thing. Those people at the gas station should be told not to do that stuff. And all you're doing is open eyes for these people out here, these younger generation that are lazy as hell.
Yeah, and the lady in line should have read the room. I mean, the very tone deaf of that's just ridiculous.
Right.
You've got people behind you.
100%. Again, we have got a thunderstorm watch in effect for Marion County going up until midnight tonight. We have got a thunderstorm warning in effect for Boone County until 5:40 p.m. Looking at the radar, severe thunderstorm warning for Hendricks also in the mix. That will be ending at 6:28 p.m. So Boone and Hendricks, portions of Boone and Hendricks until 6:28 p.m. We're keeping you up to date on the weather, on the news. Right now, here's Harrison Silcox.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Remembering Deputy Durham, 83 and cloudy in downtown Indianapolis. Radar shows a line of storms just north of Lebanon. Boone County is under that severe thunderstorm warning that Hammer was just talking about. Marion County under that watch until midnight. Low temps fall to the mid-60s later. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:30. Hundreds of people gathered inside Gamebridge Fieldhouse Monday for the funeral of Marion County Deputy John Durham, including Marion County Sheriff Kerry Forrestall.
The loss we mourn today serves as a stark reminder of the dangers and challenges that confront those who choose a life dedicated to upholding the law.
Durham was killed last week while transporting a jail inmate to and from the hospital. Senator Todd Young, Governor Eric Holcomb, and Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett were among those who attended the funeral. These scattered thunderstorms are going to be possible most of this week until Thursday.
Thursday, we get a pattern change. So we get some of the humidity out of the air. Temperatures come down a little bit drier pattern into the weekend.
Randy Bowers with the National Weather Service says high temperatures will be in the low 80s for most of the state as well. Russia is backing out of a deal that allowed grain exports to flow through Ukraine to countries dealing with drought and hunger. Fox's Jared Halpern reports.
Russia is suspending its participation in the Black Sea Grain Initiative that has allowed grain from Ukraine and Russia to reach countries in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia.
Russia will be fully and solely responsible for the consequences of this military act of aggression.
White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby says the blockade will exacerbate food scarcity and harm millions of people living in the poorest regions of the world. Grain prices were up as a result of the announcement. Russia has said sanctions are the blame, though Kirby says Western sanctions do not apply to Russian agriculture shipments. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The Biden administration is defending the Pentagon's policy to reimburse travel expenses for service members who traveled out of state for abortions. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby called the policy critical and said it's the right thing to do for Americans who voluntarily decide to serve. The average price for a gallon of gas in Indiana today up to $3.52 per gallon of regular, according to GasBuddy.com. It's an increase of 30 cents from where prices were on the average a week ago. With traffic at 5:32, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, I'm looking at westbound as 70. It looks like access to southbound 6570 has resumed, but we are still stopped back to Emerson Avenue. You see there is a crash on southbound 6570 downtown in Washington Street, and that has us closed going southbound 65, continuing south to Greenwood right now. That is shut down, so traffic is being diverted onto the local ramps into downtown. Crash eastbound 465 on the north side at Westfield Boulevard, blocking 2 center lanes, and another 1/4 mile down the road, blocking 2 right lanes. Crash westbound 465 at Allisonville Road. The left lane is blocked. Inbound 69 hit at 82nd, right lane blocked. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows that soaking at Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking at Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Scattered showers and storms will develop this evening with the threat for isolated strong to severe storms. Wind and hail will be the primary threats with lows in the low 60s tonight. Tomorrow, isolated showers and storms possible with highs in the mid-80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Tracking meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
Hendricks and Boone County dealing with the severe thunderstorm warning that lasts until 6:28 p.m. Marion County also under the severe thunderstorm watch. That goes until midnight. I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, honey, take your blood pressure medication.
Thanks, dear.
Daddy?
Yeah, Mikey.
Are you going to the hospital again for a heart attack?
No, son.
Bad medication from a fake online pharmacy sent me to the hospital. My pills didn't have enough of the right medicine for my blood pressure. We learned the hard way that it's important to buy medication only from sites that have either been approved by NABP or that end in .pharmacy, so we know they're safe. Okay?
Okay, Daddy.
Many rogue online pharmacies sell medications with too much, too little, or the wrong medicine, and counterfeiters may even use harmful fillers to make cheap pills. The National Association of Boards of Pharmacy urges everyone to make sure their online pharmacy is legitimate and to watch in coming months for more websites with a .pharmacy URL. These have been vetted as safe and legal. Learn more at safe.pharmacy, a public service from the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy.
The Hammer and Nigel Show. My name is Nigel. Hammer's right over there with a very special and lovely guest on the drivehubler.com hotline.
She is one half of the Chicks on the Right. Daisy joins us. Daisy, first of all, let me tell you congratulations. You got away with leaving your cocaine at the White House, it looks like. So congratulations. Nobody's going to be charged. It looks like you're going to skate on this one.
I'm so glad. I mean, it's the first time I've ever skated on this. So, I mean, you can't leave that stuff laying around at Emmis. You know what I mean?
Right, in our building, yeah.
But at the White House, you can totally get away with it, you guys.
Right next to the Situation Room.
That's right. That's totally right. I mean, guys, this is crazy. Like, I mean, listen, either they're so inept at the White House, or like they're very porous security wise. Like either way, we should all be feeling very insecure about the way things are run in this White House. I'm looking at this going, we all know. Okay, listen, without any answers, we know the answer as to whose coat this was. Hello.
And the thing is, Daisy, am I tinfoil hat guy? Because I think to myself, they know who it is, whether it's Hunter, whether it's some sort of staff member. I mean, listen, the fingerprints would have to be on the baggie, and there are cameras everywhere. Don't give me this crap that, well, there's one area next to the most important room in the White House that doesn't have a video system. Bull crap. They know who it is. They're just covering it up. Does that make me Alex Jones here?
No, Jason, I'm wearing, like, all my clothes are made of tinfoil now. Like every piece of clothing is all tinfoil. Yeah.
Yeah, well, but plus there's the fact that Hunter Biden does have a record of leaving things behind and forgetting about them and not returning to pick them up. The laptop for hell.
Right. And of being a complete crackhead. So there's
there's that as well.
Yeah, it's almost like whether you're talking about the Department of Justice or what's going on in the White House. This time in history, maybe it's always been this way, Daisy, I don't know, but it seems like right now, the folks in charge are just giving you two double-barrel middle fingers, lying right to your face, saying, yeah, we didn't find anything. What are you going to do about it?
Exactly. They're doing exactly that, and there's no accountability, and they can get away with it. And I think, and, you know, when we say there are two tiers of justice, it's absolutely true. They can do whatever they want, and they are laughing in our faces about it. And that's what's so disturbing, is that they're getting away with it, and they're mocking us at the same time. And it's got to piss. I can't be the only one that it pisses off.
Right.
You know?
I spoke to some police officer friends of mine over the weekend, and they told me, you know, with all the video that they have access to at the White House, if they had access to that, they could have figured this out in 30 minutes. 30 minutes to an hour is how long it would have taken a competent police officer on a legit investigation to comb through the video, run the fingerprints, and figure out whose blow it was.
Yeah, they know. I mean, they totally know. And I think the thing is that when people on the left try to make excuses for it, and they talk in circles on MSNBC and CNN and all those, you know, different networks, and they try to make excuses, it's like, it just makes it even worse. We all know. We know.
Speaking of those networks, what did you think of Tucker Carlson chatting with the Republican candidate's sans Donald Trump at this big event on Friday? Because I told some of my friends, you would never find that on any other network. You're not going to see Rachel Maddow be that critical of Democrats on MSNBC. You're not going to see Jake Tapper be that critical of Democrats on CNN. But what Tucker was able to do now on that stage, grilling Mike Pence, grilling Tim Scott, grilling Asia Hutchinson, all of those folks, that was so refreshing to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was awesome. I love that format. It's so much better than a debate format because he went deeper than that. And I think, Tucker is in such a great place right now. I think Fox did him such a great service by laying him off because now he gives no craps at this point. And he's so honest and he's so forthright and he asks the questions that we want to be asked. And so he's demanding answers to things that we wouldn't be asking these questions, or nobody would be asking these questions in a debate format because it would just be the people squabbling back and forth towards one another instead of getting those questions answered that we want answered. And so he did a tremendous job. It was a fantastic. I wish we would have this format every single election moving forward because I love the format.
Well, I think the mainstream media should be worried. I think this is the format going forward. And this wasn't on mainstream media. This was on, Glenn Beck's outfit, Blaze TV. Right. Who do you think came off the worst? I thought it was Hutchinson for sure.
Oh, my God. Pence and Asa, they're done. Pence and Hutchinson, they're just completely done, like put a fork in them. Because when Pence, made the comment, like, that's not my concern. America's not your concern. Seriously? Like, he put a fork in him. He's done. Like, he might as well just drop out of the race. Same with Asa Hutchinson. He's I don't even know why that guy's running to begin with. Like, forget about it. And then I don't think that, I love Tim Scott, but I don't think he was very strong in his answers. And I don't know if Nikki Haley was very strong in her answers either. I don't think that they were expecting. They're so used to being in an echo chamber that I don't think that they were expecting some of the tough questions that Tucker
Vivek did well. I thought Vivek Ramaswamy did excellent.
Oh, my God, he's fantastic. I think Vivek and DeSantis came off the best. Yes. Now, I will tell you that I was very disappointed in Trump that he didn't get out there and participate. And I feel like it's a civic duty to do those sorts of things. I know that he feels like he's above it all, but I don't think he's above it all. And I don't think Chris Christie is either. I think he needs to get his butt out there and do those sorts of, those forums as well. I don't know why he didn't go. I don't know if he had a scheduling conflict or whatever. That could have been the case, but he needs to do those things too because he's not polling super high. But even with Trump polling high, he needs to do those things. He also needs to participate in the debate on August 23rd. That's just my personal opinion. I think he needs to be participating. I don't care if he's the number one guy or he thinks he is. He needs to be doing that.
So let me do a little devil's advocate here then. I understand why Daisy from Chicks on the Right feels that way, but if you were getting a paycheck and your job was to be the political advisor to Donald Trump, and you see these poll numbers in all these states, and you're running away with this thing, why would you run the risk of having some sort of Mike Pence-like situation with Tucker Carlson where you could just stay home, prop your feet up, watch all of these other dudes implode? Would you recommend your client, if you were working for Donald Trump, to do these things?
I can say, listen, I understand where you're coming from because I know you're playing devil's advocate there, and I get it. But there are people like me who I've stumped for Trump, and I like him. I will tell you that he's making me mad, Jason. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, this is not good. If you are that strong and you feel that strongly about, running the country, you cannot just coast. You cannot coast your way into the presidency. You've got to get in there and you got to spar with the guys you got to do the work. You got to get your hands dirty and you got to do the work. You can't just say that this is owed to you. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm a little irritated by the fact that he thinks that he somehow is owed this, or he feels like he can just coast in there. You got to get in there and do the work like everybody else. I mean, just because you're polling high doesn't mean that you don't have to do the things that everybody else is doing. There are certain hurdles you have to jump. And he's responsible for jumping those too. Speaking
with Daisy from the Chicks on the Right, chicksontheright.com, how do you think Ron DeSantis' campaign is going so far? Your overall feelings?
It's not going very well, is it?
Well, I mean, just purely looking at the polling numbers.
Yeah, and it's weird because he's been such an effective governor. So I'm actually shocked by it a little bit. I don't understand it. I think the media's been very unkind to him. They're unkind to his wife. I don't quite understand that, because he's been so effective and so great at governing. So his record should speak for itself. So I don't quite understand that, but I mean, it is what it is. I guess he's not polling well. Now, I don't always believe the polls, because I think polls are bullcrap. But if you go just by the polls, he's not doing so hot. But I guess we just have to see what happens in the primaries, right?
So you bring up his wife. Now, she was doing a lot of events in Iowa by herself. She has kind of started this grassroots moms committee, if you want to call it that, fighting back at a lot of this ridiculousness. Now, if there's one area where Donald Trump is vulnerable with voters, it's women, suburban women especially.
Right.
Is this an area where Casey DeSantis can really rescue her husband, Ron DeSantis' campaign, by bringing in a lot of women voters?
Yeah, I think she's awesome. And when it comes to suburban women, she can definitely get in there and be powerful with suburban women, because people they're calling her like Tacky Onassis and America's Karen. That's what they're calling her, which I find so hysterical, because you put her up against a Jill Biden. I mean, Jill Biden wears drapes. First of all, she raises crackheads, and she hates her husband. Let's just get real, because as evidenced by the fact that she even let him run for president because he has dementia. But I mean, if you go beyond that, Casey DeSantis is a force to be reckoned with, because she is out there. She's strong. She has a career. She's doing and saying all the right things when it comes to appealing to suburban women who want to protect their children.
And they have young children too. So when she makes the case of protecting kids, it's coming from a place where people feel like she's genuine.
Absolutely, because I think she is genuine. She's doing that because she does care about her young children, and that definitely resonates. It's definitely speaking to young mothers and also older mothers like me.
What are you working on right now? chicksontheright.com, Daisy.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we've been talking a lot about what happened, obviously, last Friday with this Tucker thing. And then, moving forward, just all the craziness of what's going to be happening with these primaries, you guys. It's just, I think it's a crapshoot. We have no idea. I mean, it used to be that we would have some semblance of this is what we think is going to happen, but I just don't know.
It just seems like it's all up in the air, especially with Trump facing multiple indictments while running a campaign.
Right. Every day is a different day. And I guess that's what makes our jobs fun, right?
Love it.
Check them out online, chicksontheright.com. Daisy, you are a rock star. Thank you so much.
Thanks, y'all. Talk to you soon.
We have got some moonshine to drink, Nige.
Yeah, it's been a week since Did you do Moonshine Monday last week? Did I miss it?
We did.
Oh, I missed it.
We still have a little left over from when Allison made that roadie to North Carolina.
That's right. She brought us back some stuff.
Moonshine Monday next.
This is a severe weather alert from the Chapman Heating and Air Conditioning Storm Desk.
The National Weather Service in Indianapolis has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Hamilton County, northwestern Hendricks County, southwestern Boone County, southeastern Montgomery County, and northeastern Putnam County. Until 6:30 this evening, a severe thunderstorm was located near Crawfordsville, moving southeast. $half-size hail is expected. Damage to vehicles is possible. Move to the lowest part of the home, away from windows. Again, the National Weather Service in Indianapolis has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for the following counties: Hamilton, northwestern Hendricks, southwestern Boone County, southeastern Montgomery, and northeastern Putnam. That's until 6:30 this evening.
The Voice of Health Minute with Dr. Robert Prather of Holistic Integration.
We have quite a few couples who come in for infertility problems. Most of them had already been through medical intervention trying to get pregnant. We're unsuccessful. We have between an 80 and 90% success rate, even with those
that have already been through
the medical. That have already tried the medical and was unsuccessful.
Interesting.
It's amazing, again, if you get the body healthy, how successful that is.
And the medical intervention is so costly.
Oftentimes we need to really repair a lot of damage. Yeah. It's really, really hard on the body. Very emotional, very expensive. There's been quite a few women who I don't even care about getting pregnant right now. I just want to, my hormones hormones
feel
are
better.
all a mess. They've lost weight. There's kidney damage, liver damage. And as we're getting them healthy, all of a sudden they get pregnant too. So it's a very rewarding type of thing.
The Voice of Health with Dr. Robert Prather, Sundays at 8 p.m. or anytime at thevoiceofhealthradio.com.
I love being a homeowner, but there's lots of stuff to worry about when you're a homeowner, like whether or not your air conditioner is going to go out in the dead of summer. I don't have to worry about that because I'm an American Standard air conditioner owner. B&W Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling installed it. Hammer's got more.
B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains in Speedway. Ask B&W about their Premier Club. Premier Club members get a visit from a B&W member in the spring and the fall where they check all of your electrical connections, voltage and amps on the AC and furnace, your gas pressure on your gas furnace, check the airflow, and they leave extra filters so you can change it yourself the next season. I'm telling you, this is a great value. Visit bplusw.com. That's B plus the word plusw.com, or just give them a call, 243-3581. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. American Standard Heating and Air, built to a higher standard.
Make your money work for you. At Busey Bank, we understand the importance of saving for the future. Our CD specials offer a competitive, secure, short-term option to help give your savings a boost. Visit Busey.com/CD rates or call 1-800-67-BUSEY today. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick Weight Loss Hypnosis Seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds.
And we feel great. Seminars July 20th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or July 22nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com. Now through month end, get summer road trip ready at Hubler, where every new car includes their 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Visit drivehubler.com.
Where can you make the whole family happy for less? At Bob Evans. Find over 30 breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for $8.99 or less.
I'd rather be folding laundry.
This is gonna be fun.
Said no one ever. Also, no one enjoys wasting time in traffic. That's why we love saving you time. Matt Baer Traffic.
Backups are already starting.
On 93 WIBC.
All right, Matt Baer, what's going on?
53-minute delay going through Lawrence, northbound 465, stopped from 70 up to Allisonville Road. That's a crash blocking the left lane. Closed in the north split is southbound 65. Cannot continue to Greenwood. Will get pushed off into downtown. Southbound 65 backed up to MLK. Looking at southbound 465 on the southeast side, stopped from 74 to Emerson Avenue. Inbound 69 crash at 82nd, backing us up to 106. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows that soaking it Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking it Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Got a couple watches and warnings out there. Just be weather aware. Right now, we've got 82 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
And it takes me back to a simpler place and time when we used to kick back.
I missed it last week. Moonshine Monday, baby, on the Hammer and Nigel show. What? First of all, do you remember what you tasted last week? Do you remember what it was
last week? It was another sample from Allison. And I can't remember what it was.
She bought us a bunch.
So that tells me it was good. That I can't remember what it was.
Did it make you go... make that face where you go...
I thought Spanglish was going to go blind at one point. He was filling in that day.
Doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that drinks a lot of moonshine to begin with.
But man, first of all, thank you to Spanglish for filling in last week.
Look,
Tony Kennett.
It's a good feeling to know that this radio show is still going strong and creating good content even when me or you or one of us is away. So
very rarely is it a case where we're we're both gone.
Rarely,
One of us is usually always here. Friday was one of those cases.
Yes.
And Ethan and Spanglish held it down.
Yeah,
so
thank you
hat
guys.
tip to those
Appreciate
guys.
it. Let's taste this real quick.
So we got a little something from Allison. She made a roadie to North Carolina. This comes from Sugarland's Shine. And this is Appalachian Apple. So I'm going to pour you a little bit in this cup here.
Delish.
Take that, my friend.
My wife and I are some kick that we're not kind of really imbibing during the week, but screw it.
Appalachian Apple Moonshine Monday. Cheers.
Woo!
Wow.
And it's sweet, and it's still got that strong kick to it.
It's a late kick. You don't notice it till it's halfway down your throat, and you're like, whoa, here we go.
All right, what's coming up next?
Tucker. Big weekend for Tucker. He was living his best life, right? Grilling candidates. Went down to Florida where he was a rock star at the Turning Point Convention. That and Audio Gold coming up next.
Diamonds Direct's Midsummer Savings Event is happening right now with an extra 20% savings, an expanded selection, and in-store designer appearances. Take an extraordinary 20% off Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable prices on rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry, and thousands of engagement ring mountings. Meet the designers who've flown in with all new collections for the summer. The best savings, the best selection, the best value. Don't miss this once-a-year jewelry shopping event. Get details, showroom hours, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Guys, there's a lot of people talking about testosterone, but you need to do your homework and go to a provider that you can trust